This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. As training camp continues, Caleb Chason in a contract year with much left to prove to most people. Seems as if the coaching staff are fans. Defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell spoke to media today on Chason.
When you look at Caleb, the tools are there, and he's a smart and talented outside linebacker. He has the ability to rush. He's shown it. And we're just waiting for him to be healthy and get his opportunity to get out there and show what he can do.
Visit Jaguars.com for more. Chason missed much of 2022 due to a meniscus injury and returned Week 11 against Tennessee, closing out the season with 10 tackles and a sack. 83 degrees at 3:02. Time and temp are brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in, guys, along for the ride on a Friday installment of the program brought to you by our friends at the Big Chief Tire Company with 5 locations in town. Always appreciate our friends from Big Chief. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlyon, Lauren Brooks in here. Gibby's off today. Now, let me point this out. In all the years we've worked here, would you two guys agree that if I was looking for one word that fits our friend Emmanuel Thalleran, it'd be energy?
Yes.
Lauren, would you say energy is the word?
Yes, or hype.
And hype in it, but energy too, right?
Electrifying.
Yeah.
Now, ET's running the show today.
That is correct. Buckle up.
I'll watch. Well, hang on. I watched him walk in. I think he's lacking energy.
Oh, afternoons are harder.
ET, so I'm going to put you on the spot now. I'm guessing you worked the morning show, did one of those workouts for about 6 hours, bench press, lats, delts. Am I close? Is any of that or no? See, that's what I'm saying. I've never seen ET look tired. Did you look a little tired when I saw you today? That's all I'm asking.
A little sluggish, man. I got a 7-year-old that's whooping my behind, Frank.
That's what'll do it, by the way.
Man, he tearing me up.
Well, good to have you on the program, buddy. Thank you for filling in.
Yes, sir.
ET's my guy, and I saw him walk in. I've never seen ET look tired. I look tired all the time. I've never seen ET look tired. He's not tired now. That you heard that, right?
I got to keep. Hey, you caught me off my pivot, Frank. You caught me off my pivot.
That's right. I got it.
He found the caffeine like the rest of us
did.
did.
That's exactly right. So, hey, a lot to do on a Friday edition of the show. Thanks for being part of it. Do want to thank our friends from Big Chief. Day 3 of Jaguar training camp. We'll talk about that today coming up on the program. You guys, I was not there today. And I hate miss. Had the business stuff today and hate missing a practice. Anything jump out today?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of weapons because even the reserves today were catching. I mean, yeah, Garrett Prince had a couple really nice touchdown
That's the talk
grabs
today, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he looked
sorry
good.
I missed that because Garrett Prince, apparently, I've had enough buzz about him talking to Jabal and some of the TV folks. He had a great practice.
He
right?
did, yeah. And I mean, the regulars had their normal good practice, So I mean, it wasn't. It was just more people joined the party today. It felt like Britton Strange, I thought, had a really good workout. So I mean, the running backs got involved, did some nice things. So yeah, I think for the offense again, it's been hard. And again, we're not in pads yet, but so it's you almost have to focus a little bit more on the offense. But I mean, they've got to be thrilled with where they are after 3 days. I mean, I think they've got to be just absolutely thrilled.
There were a lot of really good things. One thing that jumped out to me was Trevor missed guys, and we know from last season he missed guys high, and again today there were some overthrows. And that's going to happen. It's just day 3 of camp. I totally get it. But I was a little surprised that because he didn't have a super sharp day yesterday, I thought he'd bounce back today, and it wasn't quite as good as I expected.
I'll say this, Lauren, I think there's truth to the whole tight end room looks legit, isn't there?
Well, certainly. There's a lot of depth there. You start with the fact that Evan Ingram is back. He looks fantastic. Then you go down, like you said, Brenton Strange made some plays today. Garrett Prince as well looked really good. If they have guys after that, we've seen Luke Farrell before. I'm not necessarily going to say that he jumped out the last few days by any means. But, again, he's more blocking. But as far as those three, as far as catching the ball, they've looked really good.
And I really do. And maybe I'm losing my mind, but I'm thinking, okay, Ingram obviously, I'm not going to use the word elite, but he certainly is an extremely good NFL pass-catching tight end. He's a good player. And as the go down the field, matchup problem, hybrid that's almost as much receiver as he is tight end guy. And with that guy's all the rage in the league now. Evan Ingram is one of the good ones, right? He's one of the good ones of that, whatever that is. That's A. I do believe Brenton Strange, as high as they drafted him, their belief is he will give you Chris Manhertz-like blocking and a real receiving threat. I'm not saying he's going to be – I'm not saying he's George Kittle, okay? But I'm saying he will give you a legitimate receiving threat as an inline tight end. I do believe that. Lauren, to your point, I think Luke Farrell's going to be on the team because I think on 3rd and a half yard in your two or three tight end sets, he's a good player. I don't know that he's ever going to be – he's sort of he's a younger Manhertz, but except he's not going to have to start. But I think he's going to be on the team. And if Garrett Prince looks like a down-the-field guy that Evan Ingram couldn't wait to talk about yesterday, I know we tend to get hype and excited because it's our team. We're all excited. We haven't seen him play. I think that's a pretty good room. I really do.
And that's the thing. It doesn't even really have to be great beyond Evan for the offense to be good. But if it is, then, again, the offense gets closer to being unbelievable. If Brenton Strange can become that as a rookie, and again, it's encouraging the signs that you're seeing so far. If there is an injury, Garrett Prince looks like he could step in and do some things. Receiver obviously is elite, as it should be. They're paying their receivers very high money compared to the rest of the NFL. But it is, and they're getting all those investments look like good investments, which isn't always the case. So the receivers obviously look outstanding. Ridley again today was unbelievable, and and then Etienne and Bigsby. There's a lot to like there. So offensively, if the line is serviceable or better, they will be really hard to stop. Now, if the line struggles to find continuity and guys don't play particularly well, then it could hold them back. But if the line comes together, and I think it will, they are going to be really good on offense. We'll continue to talk about the defense and evaluate it more as the practices get more physical. But offensively, they should be, I just think, over the moon excited with where they are through 3 days.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough out of so many different guys that I think Blue tweeted out, are there really enough balls to go around? That's really the question you start to wonder is how is Doug Peterson going to spread it around to this many weapons? But again, I look forward to seeing Trevor tomorrow. I hope it's a bounce back day for him.
Yeah, and Trevor's going to be fine. I think we all kind of know that. More about this whole Garrett Prince thing in this tight end room and the like in a bit. But today I want to focus a little bit on defense. What I like about their defense, Hayes, is there's leaders, and we're going to hear from one in just a bit. But I like the fact that there's leadership there. Roy Robertson Harris has evolved into a leader. Foley Fatukasi is the guy that did a lot of talking to the team before some of those key games last. You saw that on some of the sounds of the game and some of the stuff. He's a leader. I think in the secondary, Rayshon Jenkins has played a lot of football. I think so. Certainly there's leadership with him back there. But I don't know that anybody's a better leader than the quiet leader that just keeps leading the league in tackles. Doesn't say a lot, does he? He's not a rah-rah guy. But Foye Oluokun is a really, really important piece in this football team.
There's no doubt about it. And if he can elevate his play to generate more turnovers, that was something that Puzlesny did incredibly well. Not only did Puzlesny make a ton of tackles and become one of the most beloved Jaguar defenders, he would pick off passes. In terms of middle linebackers, he was always towards the top of that, fumble recoveries, forcing fumbles. That's something that I think Oluokun now can start to gravitate towards because a lot of times those are just getting there a millisecond earlier or having, your teammates sort of doing the right thing that puts you in position to make that kind of play. And I think Foye is going to have both those things. So turnovers, forcing more of those, a big emphasis for him this year.
Yeah, he looks like he's having fun this year. Maybe because Devin Lloyd, we've already seen, looks like he's figured it out more, and he's gotten to the backfield today, which was fun to see. But Foye looks like he's enjoying himself. And every time, someone tries to go for a touchdown, Foye's trying to prevent them. And then, there's trash talk back and forth between the offense and the defense. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and I think he's an important leader, and I think everything you guys both said is correct. Let's take a break. We're going to set the show today. We'll talk some Jaguars. We always kind of start this time of year. Well, most times of year with the Jaguars. We'll certainly start today. But I want you to hear from Foye Oluokun. Hayes caught up with him. His terrific one-on-one series continues today. And I think Foye is a really big, important part of this defense. And the defense is important. It doesn't get the accolades the offense does. But, boy, it's an important piece. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's hear from Foye Oluokun. He's in Hayes sat down today. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Give him to me. No, I'm not giving it. I don't want to get physical. You want to fight?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Do you want to fight? I'll fight you. All right.
They are The Drill.
Not in the face. Not in the face.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Players Grill Mandarin is now open for business. Grab the family and get to Players Grill Mandarin off of San Jose and try the best tasting wings you've ever had. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
If you're often tired, have trouble exercising, or your heartbeat feels irregular, you might have atrial fibrillation, or AFib. Left untreated, AFib can put a strain on your heart and increase your risk of a stroke. But the new Heart Rhythm Center at Baptist Health can help. With the latest treatment options for heart disorders like AFib, our team of specialists can get you feeling stronger again. Learn more at baptistjacks.com/AFib or call 904-202-2342.
Old City Football is back. Get the latest on your favorite players with 1010XL's training camp coverage. Brought to you by Roland Leash Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Let's get the work done.
Nobody covers camp like 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hey, look, if you need a terrific insurance agent, let me recommend State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Craig's a really good guy, really understands your needs. No matter what those needs are, Craig will handle those for you. That's how good he is. Automotive insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance. The best in the business is my friend Craig Dewhurst. You can trust Craig. He'll be there when you need him. He'll make sure you're paying the right amount. You're getting the coverage you need. If you want a great insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst from State Farm at 9740.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Nimnicht for Life is here. Buy your next pre-owned vehicle with confidence and peace of mind at Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet now offers a lifetime engine and powertrain warranty on qualifying pre-owned vehicles, including 1 year free maintenance. Frank Frangie here. Nimnicht for Life keeps you on the road and worry-free. Nimnicht has more than 300 certified pre-owned and used vehicles to choose from, and each vehicle includes a detailed vehicle history report. So visit NimnichtChevy.com or go to Park and Cassett Avenue. Chevy, find new roads.
Hey folks, you know you want shark coatings, and the time is now. So close your eyes and let's imagine your garage. Wait, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Just wait till you get home. The rest of you see those cracks, the stains? It looks dark, dull, and dreary. It's nothing you're proud of. It's your house junk drawer. Now, see your floor with shark coatings. It's bright, it's durable, it's fresh. Since it's non-porous, it will be so much easier to clean. Don't imagine your garage, driveway, porch, or pool deck this way. Get with shark coatings and have a brand new space with new possibilities.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Emmanuel Thalloran filling in for Gibby today. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM and Big Chief Tire Friday. When Foye Oluokun signed here after leading the league in tackles in Atlanta, what did you think? When you saw the name, what was your first reaction?
Honestly, he was one of the quietest players in the league that was productive. So it was like I couldn't think of a single highlight. I couldn't think of anything that connected my memory to Oluokun. And so it was almost a surprise when you looked and you saw, because we don't keep up with like who's leading the league in tackles. It's not like leading the bigs and home runs or something like that. So I just remember being like, wow, like, why does this guy not get more notoriety? And he wasn't obviously big in the draft process the year he came out. He was a 6th-round pick, and, he played at Yale. So I would say nondescript, is sort of how I would describe it.
Yeah, we certainly don't focus on inside linebackers on teams that aren't very good usually. So I don't think that I was all that wowed by it. And then once you research more about him and then you watch some videos of him, it's like, oh, this team is getting a really good player.
And the funny thing about the Falcons is even though they're 5 hours from here, they seem like, except when they're good and for a handful of really good players, they seem irrelevant. When Michael Vick was there, they weren't because he was dynamic. Matt Ryan was a very good player. Julio is one of the better receivers in the league. They had a stretch with Dion. But you know what I mean? The franchise itself feels irrelevant a little. So you don't know players unless they are Michael Vick or Dion or Julio. And so we didn't know a lot about him. What we found out about Foye Oluokun is that he's a really good player, a tackling machine, answers the bell, reliable, tough, and a great leader of that defense. Hayes Carline caught up with Foye Oluokun earlier today.
All right, great. We're pleased to be joined with Foye Oluokun here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. How are you? How was your break?
Doing well. Break was good. Got to see my friends, family, do a couple of things, get my mind away from the game. But a lot of training, definitely a lot of training, a lot of film study. But excited to get back here with the team, trying to improve on what we did last year.
You got a late start on your break because you stuck around in OTAs after Doug had dismissed the veterans to kind of, see what was going on. Why was that important to you?
I think one, just building relationships with those younger guys that stayed around, or showing that guys who did have to stay around, that it's not above anybody to be out there working. Break technically hadn't started yet, so watching a couple plays out there and being able to get my input in the meeting rooms really wasn't nothing to me. My flight wasn't until later in the week anyway, so might as well come be around the boys.
That's awesome. What was it like in terms of going through camp as you've gotten to this point in your career? What are some things that you sort of focus in on the first few days of training camp?
Effort. You want effort and energy, being able to show that you're still about what you were about when you came in the league. And then, give an example to everybody, because it's definitely long days. So whenever you're out here, just being able to show that I'm going to give my max effort for my team, and everybody kind of follows that. X's and O's going to get cleaned up as you go, really, but just staying crisp on what we learned before the break, being able to implement and improve on it now, but just being able to show that effort and energy. I mean, it's contagious, it's infectious. Definitely want to just keep bringing it.
Leading the NFL in tackles the last 2 years, how do you ramp up to be ready to be at your top form from a tackling fundamental standpoint September 10th against the Colts?
Being able to run yourself into shape now, run yourself into positions to make those tackles, being able to break down, understand leverage and stuff. And then a lot of it's trusting your teammates, being able to stay in your gap because you know your teammates in the gap over, being able to trust your leverage because you know your teammates breaking on the ball too. Just building those relationships out there and everybody, running to the ball. Tackles are going to be had, whether it's me or somebody else. We're going to get that guy on the ground, get the ball out, get turnovers. That's most important. Have a better year than last year.
Are the turnovers, is that a component that you're hoping to elevate this year?
Turnovers.
And yeah, and what goes into that?
Being around the ball. I mean, I got told early, Coach Bob saying it to these boys, now the ball is like oxygen. Can't breathe without oxygen. So being around the ball like your life depends on it. When you're around it and the numbers are in your favor, the ball's going to come your way. But then, being able to trust yourself, take a couple chances, because sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Trust yourself in that drop, know you can make the play, have the confidence to go make it.
Boy, you said something really interesting a few months ago when we were talking about being in year two with Coach Caldwell, that there's certain things you guys can do with the scheme, disguise things better, play with a little bit more. How has that process continued to develop?
It's been great. We're playing faster from last year already. Just building that rapport with the guys is just so important. But then everybody hearing that call already, everybody already played it before. Now we're knowing what calls to expect off of motion. Now we know what calls to expect off of weird formation and stuff. That way everybody's on the same page. When you're in year one to year two, it's a lot of take that second guessing out of it. We're just going out there playing faster.
What kind of jump have you seen Devin Lloyd make?
A lot of more confidence in what we're doing on the field. So he's not second guessing himself, his alignment, his assignment, just being able to go out there and play. Because that's a talented kid right there. And then when you're talented at what you're doing, you're going to be talented or confident in who you are. So just being able to keep trusting himself, and those plays are going to keep coming for him.
What has stood out, if anything, about the defensive front, the secondary, things that you've seen that you feel like are improved?
One more time?
Just things, defensive line, secondary, kind of the guys around you. Yep. What has sort of stood out, if anything, about the improvements that those units have made?
Right now it's about communication. Our communication is getting better as a unit. And we're already, we had a whole bunch of breakdowns of what we need to get better at as a team. And everybody, even though we had a lot of turnovers, we know we got to get better at certain things. We got to get off the field on third down. We got to tackle better as a unit. Everybody has that same mindset, and that's where we're keeping on growing to as these days go on.
What stood out to you about, the offense as you go against those guys? Trevor, the backs, the receivers?
Explosive, man. They're fast. All them boys fast. You got to be able on your P's and Q's of communication, because if you're a step behind, they can just leave you. A lot of talented guys with the balls in their hand. With the ball in their hands and stuff. Pick your poison. Really, it's going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams. But for us, we're just going to keep working, improving every day, because we go up against guys like that. Everybody's hungry on that team to prove themselves too. We're excited to prove ourselves this offseason, or the rest of this offseason.
Foye, last one. I appreciate your time. How much has the facility helped you as a pro go about your craft?
It's really cool. Does it help me? I guess we got a lot of stuff. I'm going to find a way regardless. But it's really cool. Everybody's excited every day coming in. A lot of bright lights in there. It's just easier to come in today and work. Though, last year you just get comfortable with it. It was kind of our place. We just made it our home. But this is going to make it our home just as well.
Awesome. Foye Oluokun, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck as training camp keeps going.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. So hilarious because at OTA, so Doug lets everybody go, all the veterans, all the established veterans were allowed to leave. And Foye Luakan kept coming to practice, not like to practice, but just, sitting around watching. And so it was like, why? What was the point? It was like, well, my flight wasn't until later in the week, and I just figured, why not? I'll just go and talk to the younger guys.
I like football.
It's great. Yeah, he loves being around it. So he's a fantastic player and leader for the Jaguars.
Next to him, Devin Lloyd has been running with the ones. Chad Muma replaced him some last year. Those two guys will vie for that job. I would imagine it'll be Devin's job. But we do know Ventrell Miller is going to get in the mix. Shaq Quarterman is in the mix. How does that play out? Am I overthinking it? Is it Aluakon and Lloyd, then Muma, and then it is what it is?
I think so. I mean, I think the plan would be, Aluakon never comes off the field, and he really didn't last year. I think he played like 1,100. It wasn't quite 100%. He was 100% for a good bit of the season, and then finished up at 98.5. So 11,145 snaps. So he's not coming off the field. I think ideally Devin Lloyd wouldn't really either. And then it just becomes, how much do you want to sprinkle in Chad Muma, who played about 25% of the defensive snaps last year. But again, that's with Devin Lloyd struggling. So, Devin Lloyd came in at just under 80% of the snaps, but it would have been higher had he not hit that rookie wall mentally where all of a sudden he was having a lot of trouble figuring out what he was supposed to be doing. So I would think it's Aluakon and Lloyd. And that's not a knock on Chad Muma. I think Chad Muma is going to have a nice career here. And then I think Quarterman and Ventrell Miller will play. I mean, if everything goes well, they'll play, maybe only like 5 defensive snaps all year.
Yeah, I do think that Lloyd has separated himself from Muma just a little bit because of what we've seen so far. And again, it's only 3 days of training camp, but we haven't seen Muma run with the ones to this point. And they started to mix it up a little bit today, Frank, on the offensive line, and they've mixed up some stuff as far as the ones on defense, but not that.
And this is the time in camp you do it, right out of the gate to see who does what. All right, so let me ask you both this. Before we take a break, our friend Matt Paulus from JOI comes in a bit. What can they be on defense? On offense, they can be a top 5 offense. Rayshon Jenkins said they're a top 5 defense, and I applaud him for feeling that way. In your opinion, 2 questions. I'll ask you both. What can they be on defense? And by the time it's over, if they stay healthy, what will they have been on defense?
I still think defensively there'll be improvement, but not like gigantic improvement. So, and again, their numbers are going to look funny because if the offense is as good as we think it is, then they'll probably be very good against the run because teams are going to stop running on them in the third, fourth quarter. And they'll probably look bad against the pass in terms of yardage standpoint because teams will be throwing to get back in the game. So I think how well the offense does could affect this. But I don't think anybody's going to think they're a top 5 defense. A lot would have to go right. Tyson Campbell would have to become an absolute top 3 corner in this league. Trayvon Walker would have to, get to that 12 sack range. Josh Allen would have to be right in that range as well. Devin Lloyd would have to have a monster second year. It's not that it couldn't happen, but in this league, you usually don't get everything to go your way that you're hoping it will. So, but I'd say, look, if they can just be somewhere on third down, on the real key stats, points per game, third down defense, turnovers forced, if they could be just 15th in all those categories, this team will win a lot of games, because the offense, I think, is going to be able to carry. I don't think the offense is going to need much from them for this team to produce a lot of wins.
We've seen some near picks in practice each day. We haven't seen an actual interception yet, but if this defense can be ball hawking, I think where Rayshon Jenkins is going is, look, if Cisco and, yes, Tyson Campbell can start to get those turnovers and you get the sacks up front, you already know the middle of the defense is going to be good. So it just needs, everyone else needs to just take those few steps forward.
I'll give you my take on the defense. I have a pretty good idea of what I think they are at a lot of spots. I have a pretty good idea what I think they are in the secondary. The safeties, Tyson, Darius Williams, Trey Herndon, although keep an eye on Gregory Jr. to really push Trey Herndon. That's one. Keep an eye on that one. Gregory Jr. pushing Trey Herndon. But I think I know what they are in the secondary. I have a pretty good idea what a Lua Khan and either Lloyd or Moma, probably Lloyd, will be. I think Lloyd will be better, but better than he's been. They both will. I have a pretty good idea what Devon Hamilton and Ray Robertson-Harris and Fatakasi are. Tough-nosed guys, very good against the run. When Gotsis or whoever gets in there and backs him up, I got an idea of what he'll be. I'm not sure what Trayvon and Josh will be this year. That's my question. I think they'll be good. I think they're both good players. They're both top 10 draft picks. They both came back in phenomenal shape, and they work well together, and they both have reasons to be very good this year. Josh, a contract year, obviously. But if they are really good, if they combine for the 25 sacks that Tony Baselli told the drill guys he thought they could, well, then I think they're a top whatever defense. Then I think they are an elite defense. They're certainly a very good one. If they're not, if the season ends and one of those guys has 6 sacks and the other one has 4.5, then I think they're the 18th ranked defense, right?
If that happens, they may not show much improvement on last year when they were like 24th in yards and they were 29th on third down last year. Now, again, rookie defensive coordinator in Mike Caldwell last year. It's his second year.
Right.
So that should help. But again, 29th on third down, that's unacceptable. That is putrid.
And that is pass rush.
Absolutely.
Third down is pass rush.
Yeah.
I mean,
how often are you going to see a run on third down these days?
So if you're not good at if you're not good on third down at any level of football, if you're not good on third down defense, your pass rush isn't very good. That's just reality. So that to me is the question. If those guys are special, I like what I kind of see everywhere else. They just got to find some exterior pass rush. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. I'll take a break. Let's say hello to our friend Matt Paulus. He joins us from JOI. That's after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
What's the deal with the show? Around town, around the world. Take 1010XL with you wherever you go.
Everyone can hear.
Download our free app for Apple and Android devices. Search 1010XL where you get your apps.
This month only, at Key Buick GMC, receive employee pricing for everyone on select Buicks in stock on the lot. Combine big savings with low APR to fit any budget. We are the only Buick GMC dealership offering lifetime powertrain warranty on every new Buick. Remember, we're the home of the no dealer markups and add-ons. Remember to get your Buick ready for summer travel at our service headquarters, fast and convenient. Ask for Derek or Brian. Key Buick GMC on the corner of Southside and Gate.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On July 28, 1991, U.S. Senior Open men's golf, Jack Nicklaus matches course record of 65 to beat Chichi Rodriguez by 4 strokes on a Monday playoff.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs, so put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes, served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey guys, Hicken here. It's hot. The oven is on, and it ain't getting any cooler. Unless you stay cooler with Bueller. Bueller Air, still locally owned and still treating their growing customer base like they're part of the family. Go ahead and Google them yourself. Bueller Air, B-U-E-H-L-E-R. You won't find better rated air conditioning company in town. I use them, so I already know. Like I said, it's getting hotter than ever outside, so stay cooler with Bueller.
Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
E.T. here, Brackish Vodka, Jacksonville produced and distilled. A gluten-free corn-based vodka is the smoothest vodka you've ever had. Because it's mineral salt filtered after being distilled 5 times, you get the smoothest vodka on the market. And it's made right here in Jacksonville. When you drink gluten-free Brackish Vodka, you are supporting a local business and not a business based in Texas. Taste why 9 out of 10 people pick Brackish Vodka in a blind taste test. Drink like a local. Drink Brackish Vodka.
Are you a meat lover searching for quality cuts? Southern Steer Butcher uses a vacuum tumbler to marinate and tenderize our chicken and world-famous steak tips.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Looking for the best deal on your next set of tires? Tire Outlet never falls flat. We offer the best selection, best quality, and the best prices on tires so that you can find the right ones for your vehicle. And with over 40 years of experience, 15 locations across Florida, and a legendary price match guarantee, you can trust that your vehicle is in great hands. Our skilled technicians are ready to maintain and repair your vehicle to keep it operating its best. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet.
My name is David Lane. I'm just your average everyday Joe. I've had multiple procedures done at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, including both of my shoulders, knee replacement, and an upcoming back surgery. I'd highly recommend the doctors and the staff over at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. If they can get this old dog back in the game, they surely can do the same for you.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I've got a simple question. How much does a 1-carat diamond cost?
Frank, that's an impossible question to answer because a carat is only a measure of weight for gemstones. It'd be no different than me saying, I have a beautiful wife. She weighs 125 pounds, which you'd find is a ridiculous description. Diamonds are graded for 4 factors, and carat weight is only one of those factors. The others are cut, color, and clarity, and each of these factors is graded specifically and set by a certified gemologist in an accredited gem laboratory. So when you ask about a diamond's weight, we're going to tell you more than just the price. At Underwoods, we want a customer to understand how all 4 factors of diamond quality relate back to the rarity and value of the diamond. Needless to say, we all understand the value of a dollar. At Underwoods, we want our customers to know what their dollar buys in diamond value. So if you're shopping for the best, stop by Underwoods.
That's at Underwoods in San Marco, in Avondale, or at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
Welcome back to the program. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlisle, and Lauren Brooks with you. Our buddy Matt Paulus joins us from JOI. I hadn't seen you in a while. How are you, man?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Had a good. You've been telling us off air about your summer. Good vacation?
Yeah. We went to Yellowstone, and if you haven't been there, definitely get out there. It's a gorgeous place to see.
Yeah, we went a few years ago.
You said you went 5 years ago, and then since the show, has it gotten way more popular?
I don't know. I think it's been popular a long time.
Okay.
We went last time. We went early June, and
Yeah.
by the end of that week, it was starting to get pretty busy. We went this time 4th of July week, and it was busy.
Yeah.
It was much more busy than it was the first time we went. But I think, in general, when you tell most people you're going to Yellowstone, that's what they think of. Like around here when you tell people about that. But no, it's just a gorgeous place. Everybody should see it at least once.
Did you do a darkness retreat while you were out there?
What is the stuff again? Ayahuasca?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
ayahuasca.
I didn't get that though, but
Yeah.
everything else I did. Yeah.
You know what's funny about when I went to Yellowstone, of all the things about Yellowstone, the waterfalls and the gorgeous scenery, the thing that amazed me the most, maybe because I just haven't been around wildlife a lot, is, and we stayed at the Yellowstone Inn one night, is the way the bison walk right up to you.
Yeah.
The way they are literally 20, 30 feet away from, and there's tons of them. And they're that close to you. They're just walking down the street. You're driving your car down, and there's a big old bison right there.
Yeah,
that part is
you hope you
astounding
run
me.
into a road jam of
Right.
bison. It's really kind of cool. They go right past your car.
I mean,
like,
they literally we were staying at the second floor of the old Yellowstone Inn, And the road right below where you drive in the park, there are 3 or 4 of them just walking down the road.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And then when you're around Old Faithful Inn, they're even walking around the geysers.
That's the one. I said Old Yellowstone. It's the Old Faithful Inn.
Yeah, they're even walking around the geysers and everything, which is don't step off the path, but a 2,500-pound buffalo or whatever it is can walk out there.
We stayed at the old. That's what it was. The Old Faithful Inn where we stayed. We stayed one night, and they're walking right. They're right there. You're on your second floor. You look down on them. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And Old Faithful's. I mean, it's really cool. About every 90 minutes that goes off, and that's a pretty neat spectacle.
Yeah, I had never seen that before. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
To watch. So, let's talk a little bit about JR. You guys have a new rehab location.
Yeah, we're going to open our Lucky 13 clinic next week. Actually, we're opening it Wednesday. So it's going to be over there on the corner of Atlantic Boulevard in Kernan in the BJ Shopping Center. So we're excited to announce that we have another location for people to go to for their physical therapy.
And what other services will be there?
So it'll be PT and OT will be available there. We will have 2 PTs there and 1 OT to service the needs of that area.
The heat has been so unbelievable this last month. What are some things athletes and just people in general can do to avoid getting heat exhaustion and
it's not just here. Like if you've been watching a lot of baseball, which I know you guys love, even like Cincinnati that one day they had one guy fall out on the mound, and so these are not just for this area, but yes, obviously early and often, if you're already thirsty, that means you're dehydrated, you're behind the game. Okay. So you got to make sure you're hydrating early and often if you're going to be out, even if you're just playing 18 holes of golf, you really should think about that and hydrate before you go out. You obviously want to avoid your caffeinated drinks and your energy drinks. Those are diuretics, can make you go to the bathroom more often than normal, so that would lead to a little bit more dehydration as well. And then mixing in like a Gatorade or a Pedialyte or something like that into your routine, so you're replenishing some of those electrolytes that you're losing through your sweat.
Matt, and I'm glad we're on this. What is dangerous? I mean, if you're a jogger or a runner, or if you play tennis, high cardio activities. Mm-hmm. Should you not do it when it's hot out? I mean, that's a simple question.
If you can avoid it between the hours of 11 and 4,
you shouldn't do it.
That's the best case scenario, but obviously schedules are schedules, and people like to play at certain times, and you can do that. You just have to make sure you're taking frequent breaks, or at least make sure you're taking a water break when you're doing it.
And what are the dangers? I mean, what
So the first thing is just cramping. Cramping's usually your first sign. If you start getting cramping, that's your sign that you're already dehydrated. And then it's like profuse sweating, diminished mental state. Those are leading to heat exhaustion, right? And then if you pass through heat exhaustion, the next one is heat stroke. And basically, when heat stroke starts, your skin goes dry. Your body doesn't have any more sweat to produce. So you go dry, you get hot really fast, and those are a medical emergency. So those have to be cooled down immediately. A lot of changes over the last 10 years or so. It trickled out. Started NFL, goes college. Now it goes down to the high schools. Is implementing procedures for these, first of all, which we've always had in place, but now having an actual dunk tank available. If you think somebody is reaching the point of close to heat stroke, you got to get them in a cold tub right away to try to lower their body temperature as fast as possible. Because if you don't, it's going to get out of hand real quickly, and that's usually a non-recoverable situation.
Wow.
Ooh, yikes. Can you or should you start hydrating 24 hours before if you are, let's say, going to go play tennis in the middle of the day?
Absolutely. Earlier, good hydration is what probably most of us lack, right? Most of us weekend warrior or, occasionally active with certain things, right? We're not most of those people aren't hydrated enough throughout the day, right? So you see all these things now, water bottles you can buy that say, okay, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, ticked on the bottle itself, telling you that's how much you should be drinking within that hour each hour of the day. I think those are very helpful visual tools for people to understand what they really should be taking in. But yeah, most of us are behind the game a lot of the times anyway on their hydration, especially if you drink a lot of sodas. I love Mountain Dew. Some I'm kind of
one a day.
I love Mountain Dew. Some I'm jealous that you have one.
Yeah, neither of us do that though. So I think we're good there.
But honestly, if it's okay to have sodas. I'm not saying it's okay not to have soda, but if that's your primary thing you're drinking throughout the day, then yeah, you're going to be behind on your stamina for playing out in the heat.
Is there also a correlation between dehydration and like soft tissue injury? Like, are you more susceptible to pull something if you're not hydrated?
You start off with cramps, right? And then, if you get to the point where it's really bad, you can get full body cramps, and yeah, you could end up hurting something with that. Typically not long term. It's not like when you're sprinting, you pull your hamstring. It's definitely not as bad as that, but it can feel very similar to that when it's happening. But usually you're not getting the stretching of the muscle at the same time. It's just a really hard contraction and strains the muscle.
So when we were all kids, I know when I was a kid, and I'm serious about this, you'd go shoot hoops in 38-degree weather, and you'd play sandlot baseball in 100, and you never thought about it, right?
Right.
Kids, we're kids, you never thought much about it. And then the older you get, it starts bothering you more and more. But even when you're a kid, if it's 100 degrees, there is some danger if you're not hydrated, right? We know more than we knew then, right?
Absolutely, and more and more stuff comes out. More and more tools you can use. Obviously the old tried and true is a weight chart. You can keep track of your weight. Before practice, after practice. Those always are very good objective things you can see immediately. I grew up in Wisconsin on a farm. We wore jeans and long shirt when we're baling hay, right?
Yeah.
And we were out in 90-degree weather all day doing that. You didn't really think much of it, but I think back now, I'm like, we went through a water jug like in the morning and the afternoon. So you definitely knew you were needing to hydrate during that. But yes, the education's more. Everybody knows more about it, more aware about healthy eating habits, healthy, drinking habits. All those things are helping decrease these issues, but they still happen very often.
Because you can also eat fruit if let's say you're not the biggest water person, but you do need to hydrate. You can eat fruit.
You can eat, like a more watery, not necessarily, bananas you can eat. They're good for potassium and stuff like that. But yeah, there's different fruits you could eat that could help. Watermelons, mostly water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be a good way to get something different to, for your palate to feel like you're accomplishing your goal that you want to do.
We have the fall sports getting ready to ramp up. Is there any advice you can give to coaches in terms of things to look out for with their athletes before something really massive happens?
Well, I think a great thing we've been doing for a while now is the acclimation period, right? So like the first, sorry if this isn't right, but I think it's first 3 days is no pads, right? And then you start with helmets and shells, and then you go to full pads after a week, right? Those are all smart, graduated steps to getting back out into the heat and exercise. Your clothing options as well when you're working out, like I was saying before, jeans and long shirt doing hair, right? Loose fitting clothes, the mesh shirts, shorts, all those allow you to dissipate heat a little bit better, and you will help decrease the chances of going into heat exhaustion.
So you grew up in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
You now live in Florida. Are you one of the people that because all my cousins were like this that moved, that never minded it cold because that's all they knew was Pennsylvania, but the blood thins or the blood is that true? Does that happen?
I guess it didn't really bother me when I was there, but now when I go back, oh my gosh, I'm a wimp. I don't like.
And everybody I know that moved down feels that way. So does your body really change, or just what you're used to?
I guess it's what you're.
You know what I mean? Because I
don't know. Honestly, I don't know what.
Because you hate cold weather now.
Yeah,
you grew up in it, but you hate it. I
don't care for it much at all.
I've always been a cold weather wimp, but I can't tell how many people I know that were raised in the north, and it didn't really bother them. Now, probably now they've gotten older, but now, oh my God, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if your body, if it really does change.
When I was living there, I didn't think twice about it. It was what you had, right?
And that's the psychology of it too, right?
And you don't go snowmobiling or whatever you would do.
Like golf. You probably how cold do you play golf now?
Oh, if it's below 50, I probably not.
Of course not. None of us do. Why would we?
Yeah, exactly.
But I used to tell this story. I'd have a cousin come down and say, "Let's play," Well, it's just like 52 degrees. You kidding me? I'm going to play in a tank top.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But I mean, I wonder if your body really does change.
Yeah, it must because I don't care for it at all. But
No, we live in Florida. Of course, we're not playing under 50.
Yep.
Play tomorrow when
tough.
it's 80.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, because the weather does that. Matt, we were in Nashville last week. Graham Mertz was not there. Is there a reason that Billy Napier did not bring Graham Mertz?
He's just holding back so everybody gets a real good, just gets surprised by everything. I know we joke about this all the time, but I really hope he does well. I mean,
he's going to do well. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, I think he can't do much better than that for crying out loud.
I'd be very happy for him. That would be great. But
would you be happy for Aaron Rodgers if he does well?
Oh my gosh. $35 million pay cut. Is that right?
How about that?
He could have done that for
guy,
you
isn't he?
guys.
Isn't he nice? I mean, what a great guy.
Yeah.
Our buddy
Where
Matt,
was that?
Our buddy Matt Paulus from JOI. All right, the brand new location, the 13th location now, is on Atlantic Boulevard at Kernan, right there in the BJ Shopping Center. 13 is pretty cool, by the way. 13 locations.
Yeah,
you guys have really grown the initiative.
Yeah, we've done well. So
where'd we see one, Hayes, the other day? Nocatee.
Yes.
Yep.
We saw one at Nocatee.
Yep.
When we went and see a client, some friends of ours, and right the minute we walked in.
That's right.
Yeah, that one opened about 3 years ago. I think we
Okay.
opened that one.
Yeah. So
we're expanding. So it's a good thing.
Matt, thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks guys.
Matt Paulus from JOI. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little baseball. I'm going to have Taylor Dahl come in here and join us a little because the Cubs are making a run, and I got a thought or two about selling or buying. This next, stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
She's not afraid to chop it up with the guys.
All right, I can be tough. Okay, I've got to be. I can also be tender.
Mia O'Brien is on XL Primetime.
I envy this woman.
Weekdays noon to 3
Thank you for being so honest.
on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. There's a reason Stanley Pools is a family tradition of fine swimming pools. It's locally owned and run by the Stanley family since 1988. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build and renovate our pool, and they do a fantastic job of maintaining it. I've recommended Stanley Pools for years for pool construction, repairs, maintenance, and renovation. Call Stanley Pools at 269-7277 today to transform your backyard. That's Stanley Pools, 269-7277.
Attention corporate event planners and team leaders. Step away from the ordinary and treat your team or clients to an exceptional corporate event at Foursquare Golf Tavern. With great fellowship, elevated food, handcrafted cocktails, and the excitement of golf simulators and football on the big screen, it's an experience you won't find anywhere else. Call or visit our website to learn more about hosting your next corporate event with us. Let's make it a day of team building, celebration, and unforgettable memories at Foursquare Golf Tavern.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here. Hurricane season is upon us. That's why I always recommend Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial, residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty, financing is available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors. Give my buddy Mark a call, 982-4052, licensed and insured, or go to Patriot Roofing Services online.
Did you know High School 912 offers a leadership academy, financial literacy, and social media seminars? Help students unlock their potential, master their finances, and explore their social media abilities. Resources like these would not be possible without the support of generous donors like you. Visit jackshighschool912.com/give to donate or email jackshighschool912@gmail.com for more information. Support the mission of High School 912 today.
Do you have a lift station at your business? Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services would love to be your maintenance provider. Give us a call for a quote today, 904-862-6769, or online at duckrooter.com.
What's the famous automotive philosophy? It means consistency across all 20 locations for friendly service, honest pricing, and realistic time expectations, so you know your vehicle is in good hands at any Famous Automotive and Famous Quick Lube.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. It's time to take control. Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take back your quality of life today with QC Kinetics. Call them today at 904-274-5522 to set up an appointment at their Mandarin or Ponte Vedra locations. Take control with QC Kinetics. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime, no more pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. QC Kinetics takes your body's own healing agents and concentrates them in the area where you have pain. You can repair and restore damaged tissue naturally through regenerative medicine. The summer is here. You need to be out there having fun, making memories, golfing, walks on the beach, enjoying your life. Take control now and start living pain-free. No surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics has locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call them today at 274-5522. That's 274-5522.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Folks, Nimnicht for Life is here, and that is a good thing for car owners. Buy your next pre-owned vehicle with confidence and peace of mind at Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet now offers a lifetime engine and powertrain warranty on qualifying pre-owned vehicles, including 1 year free maintenance. Nimnicht for Life keeps you on the road and worry-free. Now, Nimnicht has more than 300 certified pre-owned and used vehicles to choose from. And remember, at Nimnicht Chevrolet, each vehicle includes a detailed vehicle history report. You can visit nimnichtchevy.com to see that complete inventory, shop by payment, and even get your trade value in seconds. So Nimnicht for Life is here, and that's a good thing at Nimnicht. Your friends at the car business since 1941. Chevy, find new roads.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
8Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Exciting news from Woody's Barbecue. Backed by overwhelming demand, Woody's presents their all-you-can-eat chicken special every Sunday with all the trimmings, just $12.49.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. As training camp continues, defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell spoke to media earlier today and shared thoughts about the competition early in camp.
I guess just like early on in camp, it's really about, like we talked earlier, competition. We got a bunch of guys in different positions that are going to get many reps out of practice. They're going to get the reps and cream rises to the top. You get your opportunity, you go out there, you play, you perform, then you continue to get more opportunities. And there's a bunch of guys out there that are vying for different positions. And again, like I said, competition is great. Let's go get it.
Visit Jaguars.com for more. It's 83 degrees at 3:59. Time and temper brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Back to more of a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire, with 4 locations on the First Coast to serve you.
Welcome back to the program, along with Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Emmanuel Thalloran. I'm Frank Frangie. Taylor Doll's going to stick around in her Bears garb. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I was waiting for Go Cubs Go to be playing.
No, we're not doing that. No, but I still, hang on. I think I still have my W.
Your W flag.
Maybe it's in my other book. I still have it.
That was the best way. I just handed it to Lauren. I was like, can you give this to Frank, please?
And she had a total straight face. This was after the Cubs beat the Pirates. And she was, hey, Taylor, she had a straight face like, this is business. This is a sales contract.
It was in a 1010 folder.
And Lauren's like me. She can't keep a straight face for anything. So she looked the other way just to make sure she wouldn't laugh. And there it was, my W. So thank you for my W.
I also didn't want to get yelled at. I was just the messenger.
You were ducking.
Was that the was that the beginning of the end?
Yeah. No, the end had begun way before that.
Okay.
No, that was sort of a continuation of the end.
Okay.
It was a continuation. But we got all your Bears gear on here.
I do. This is it looks like I'm going golfing.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
listen to Helmets and Heels at all, I do not golf. I don't even putt. So
Why not Cubs today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I should. It was funny because the other day, obviously, with all the back and forth of like the Trevor getting ranked lower than Justin things, all my friends were like, "You should just show up in your Justin Fields jersey." And I was like, no one at work cares. It's like the outside, the Twitter people that really cared about it. I was like, no, everyone at work would be like, "Okay,
Right. We get it. We get it.
We
We get
understand.
it. All right, so let me ask you this. I want you to come in here. We'll talk football some other time. But the Cubs are actually kind of good now.
Yeah, they're.
Right? And for people that don't know, Taylor's a diehard fan of the Chicago team, diehard Bears fan probably first and foremost. But the Cubs are right there. You're
Right
a
there.
diehard Cubs fan.
Oh yes, and yeah, the Cubs they've been a very streaky team all year long. They've had a lot of really fun 3, 4, 5 game winning streaks. They just hit 6 on this one. They've now won 8 of 9 since All-Star break. They're number 1 in runs per game, number 1 in OPS, number 1 in stolen bases, and number 1 in batting average. Like everything you want to go well for a baseball team. But it's a weird time to do it because 2 weeks ago we were talking about trading Bellinger, trading Stroman, and now you start questioning, well, do you trade, or you're 4 games out from the wild card at this point and 5 games back in the division? You have a chance to actually win the division.
So here's my theory. Here's what I want to talk to you. I want to go around the room on this. I think there should be some sort of a restriction on how much you can sell your team.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, my team's cheap, so we sell off everybody. But fans buy tickets. They buy season tickets. I hope the Cubs don't trade anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bellinger's really good. I mean, Stroman's one of the best starters in baseball this year. It's a great bounce back year for Bellinger. They're not going to trade Swanson, right? He's not on the market.
No.
Bellinger and Stroman. Why you're 51 and 50? We're only 5.5 games back, and the Brewers are just okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Brewers aren't great.
No.
I mean, the division sucks.
They have a negative point differential, or maybe right at positive. I know the Cubs have like a plus 50.
The Brewers are -3.
Yeah.
-3 run.
The Cubs are
differential.
plus 55.
Yeah.
Okay. So say that again. What you just said. The Brewers are -3 run
-3 in
differential.
run differential,
The
and the Cubs are plus 55. The Cubs are the only team in the Central that are positive.
Yeah. So the point is, and I say this respectfully because my team has sucked for a long time, but I told Taylor this off air. The Cubs usually aren't good.
Mhm.
That's just reality. They won
Yeah.
the World Series a few years back, but they're usually not a good team.
No.
Over your 30 years on the planet,
A lot of my life has been hurt.
Right.
It's been pain.
Trust me, I get it. Okay, so nobody gets it more than I do. But if you're the Cubs, you're a national team. Everybody knows the Cubs. Everybody knows Wrigley. Everybody knows the ivy on the wall. Everybody knows Waveland Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows the logo and the uniform. And you're the Cubs. You have a chance. The Cubs should not trade. You can build for the future eventually, right? Don't you? So what do your Cub buddies say about all that?
It's honestly super split. So I even posted it, I think last week, where I said I'm really confused at what to do with Bellinger because I am getting really good vibes from the Cubs, and it's been up and down. There's been moments, but there's also been injuries, and right now they're the healthiest that they've been all season too, so that helps. Dansby Swanson just came back. He missed 3 weeks of baseball, and now he's back and healthy, which previous to that, Dansby missed 1 game in like 3 seasons. So it's the most time he's ever missed, and it just happened.
Him and he misses, right?
Yeah, and he misses. But he's been great. Bellinger is on just a tear this year, and that's why a lot of people are like, okay, well, you're not going to win the World Series. Like, one team wins the World Series. I'm here to make the postseason. You know, like, just in my head, I'm not, okay, every year you're going to win the World Series. To me, you want to make that postseason. You want to win your division, and that's what's most important to me, step 1. So if you have the chance to do that, I say go for it. I don't want to sell.
Are you bothered? I mean, and you're not a diehard baseball fan. You follow it. Doesn't it seem like too many teams, and again, mine's primary among those, that just dump every year? Like every team's got one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I would say with where their Cubs are right now because of the win streak, because of their placement, I mean, go for it. You have 60 games left, so why wouldn't you make a run at it? So, yeah, if I was the Cubs, I certainly wouldn't look to sell off. But I have no problem if a team is, if you're the Nationals or, I mean, the Cardinals are a tough example because they're normally better than what they are. But, yeah, if you're in a rebuild and you're out of it, I don't care if you sell off all your veteran talent.
It just seems like to me, Lauren, weigh in here. It just seems like to me, and again, I'm case in point, I'm a diehard baseball fan, probably like you, Taylor. I travel over to see my team. I watch every game. I mean, I'm a diehard. it just seems like me the teams that are sellers are always sellers. You know what I mean? Now the Rays are a different example because they know how to do it. But for the most part,
Yeah, they sell and win.
yeah. But most part, the sellers are always sellers. Does it bug you as a baseball fan, all the selling?
Well, I think it just depends on the situation that the team's in. Like, for instance, if the Pirates believe they are building towards something, then you shouldn't be sellers, especially of the younger guys. And Santana, who was traded yesterday, is how old?
Yeah, he's 37.
So he's older.
But go, I got a thought of that.
But yeah, I mean, if you believe that you're headed towards something, and the postseason certainly being one of those goals, and for the Pirates not this year, but if you believe that that's next year, then that's when you should keep your guys, develop the other guys, and I think the other thing is too. I compare it to the Jaguars season last year. At 2-7, 3-7, we thought the season's over. And look at what happened by the time January rolled around.
Yeah.
If the Jaguars were a baseball team last year, they would have been sellers at the halfway point, and look at what was able to happen.
I guess here's my point. It's more than just what you do at the end of July. Baseball, following the Pirates, they signed 37-year-old Santana, even 36-year-old McCutchen, and 42-year-old Rich Hill, with the plan to sell them in July. That was part of their whole paradigm was sign guys that you can move for other guys. And I guess that just bugs me.
That they went into the season with that plan already.
That was the plan. Everybody knew Santana.
They're rentals, and
right.
you do get a lot of rentals in baseball.
Well, but I don't mind a rental if you're renting to win something.
Yeah.
But don't rent to sell.
To sell, yeah.
And so,
that is odd. And because when the Cubs just sold everything a few years ago. They got rid of Rizzo, Javi, Bryant, who nobody's doing too much right now, so it doesn't look terrible when you look back. But it was time. At that point in my life, I was like, it's time. Like, we're not going to win with this roster right now. But I don't want to do it again 3 seasons later.
But let me stop you. I'm glad you said that. And you know your team. I don't. But let me stop what you said. Everybody would agree with what you just said. I hear you. Because everybody said it was time for the Cubs to break it up. Yet, Rizzo, Schwarber, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, they're all in their prime. It's not like they were 38 years old.
Yeah.
Why not then? You say it was time. Well, why did it have to be time? Why not keep them? Keep paying them.
Yeah.
You guys got a bunch of money.
But the Cubs don't want to spend the money.
Well,
that's
the problem.
We're fake broke.
But I mean, but I mean, think about this. That's a really good point. But when Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javi, Schwarber, I mean, if you still had all those guys, you might win the World Series again.
The problem is
does that make sense? I mean,
that year in June, they were they had all of those guys, and they were the worst team in the Central, I think, or maybe
Contreras
fourth.
It was catcher.
bad. Like, it just wasn't good. So I think a lot of people are looking at it like something's not working anymore. Whether these guys needed fresh starts or Schwarber had already been gone. We got rid of him this season before, so it was Bryant, Rizzo, and Javi that we got rid of that season. Javi's been terrible since he left.
Right.
Bryant's been injured almost the entire time he's been gone.
Right.
He was also a Boris guy. That's what scared the Cubs a lot, which also scares the Cubs with Bellinger. But you mentioned with Bellinger, it's different because Bellinger's not a young guy. He's a little bit older. He's one of the veteran guys.
I hear you.
Rizzo's the one I miss the most, and I told you that when it happened. You asked who are you the most sad about, and I said Rizzo. I do not want him to go. We would love a great first baseman right now.
And everything you're saying is logical, but I guess the Cubs are the perfect example where I'm going with this. Is you got all these guys together that are really good players. I know Javi is tumbled. I don't know what happened to Javi, but you had four. I mean, you only have 9 in the lineup. 4 were really good players.
Yeah.
I think Ian Happ was young and on that team. Contreras was a catcher on that team, and I'm missing some other guys. But somehow baseball should have a system where you can keep those guys in the Cubs until they're old.
Yeah.
I'll bet you. How old were all of them when you let them go? Bryant was in his 20s. Javi was in his 20s.
Yeah, all young. I mean, when you
Riz
look
might
at
have
it,
been 30, right?
because I think when the Cubs won the World Series, it was the youngest team to win the World Series. I think the average age was like 24 point something.
Yeah.
They did like the points, and not one single person from that team is left except Kyle Hendricks, who was the oldest at the time.
But you see my point. I mean, I just think that it's a shame baseball
Does
that you couldn't keep them all together. I guess that's my
But the good baseball teams need teams to sell because at this point in time, they're like the Dodgers, for instance, obviously requiring guys today, starting pitching today. those teams need. I mean, I don't necessarily love it, but those teams need other teams to be able to be willing to sell off their pieces.
I guess, or they want them to, if they need them to. But yeah, I just hate the way. And the Cubs are a perfect example. Breaking up that team. By the way, as a Pirates fan, I love seeing a team break up because they kicked our ass every time. but as a baseball fan, I didn't like it.
No.
I didn't like that Rizzo and Bryant and Javi and Schwarber.
Believe me, you're talking to me.
I know.
I had every one of those jerseys, and now they're all gone.
Yeah, I guess so. So hopefully, this year you don't think they're gonna. What do you think they're gonna? What are they going to do? By the way, we only got about 4 days.
I know, and that's why I truly am I'm torn. 2 weeks ago I would have said they're sellers, hands down, and now I'm kind of looking at it like I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they got rid of Stroman. Stroman's gone after this season. He's had a couple bad starts back to back, so they may be like, maybe it's time to make this right now. Bellinger, I would love for them to make a contract, like give him an extension personally, and I think if they do to one of them, it will be Bellinger, not Stroman.
But don't trade either one of them.
I know. I'm there. I hope not.
Try that damn song "Go Cubs Go," which is the worst song ever written. But beyond that, wouldn't you want to be singing it? I hope they don't do it. All right, very good. By the way, are the Bears gonna be any good or no?
I don't know. We've talked a little bit about this on Heels. It obviously depends a lot on Justin Fields, how big of a step he takes, which I am expecting the offense to look a lot cleaner this season. They bulked up the offensive line, which is what they needed. They added DJ Moore. They added another tight end, Robert Tonyan. So they fixed the offense. They did everything they could to surround Justin with better. And people I don't even think realized that last year they had like a 5-6 game streak where they were scoring 24 plus. It wasn't the scoring that was an issue a lot of last year. It was the defense. So they bulked up the defense, the linebacker group with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. A lot of healthy in the secondary. So I don't know. It's just a lot on Justin. How big of a step Justin makes, that will depend. To me, I'm sitting at like 8-9 wins, maybe. But if Justin takes a bigger leap, then you could expect more, especially with what the NFC North looks like.
And I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, you are personally responsible for that group rating Justin Fields ahead of
it was all me.
Is that so? You can confirm
I knew it when it was. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to hear that.
They're gonna hate you, aren't they?
I was like, I didn't vote, I promise.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Taylor Dahl stopping by talking Cubs with us. Back in a moment. We come back. College football. Ooh, boy, the Big 12's got them all ticked off. We'll talk about that. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
I'm Greg Coleman, former Reigns High Viking and Minnesota Viking.
This is Bill Polian of ESPN
on 1010XL
92.5 FM.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch the game with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a tennis racket in the other. Don here from Taco Lou in Jack's Beach. I love sports, and since you're listening to this station, you love sports as well. If you love sports and tacos, then Taco Lou is calling your name. You can watch the game here, call in a to-go order, and watch it at home. Or let us cater your next party. It's Friday, so here's to a weekend full of sports, tacos, and tequila at Taco Lou in Jack's Beach.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
Now at Hodges Mazda, for those who never stop refining, lease a new 2023 Mazda 3 sedan during the Season of Discovery sales event for only $329 a month. Lauren Brooks here. The Mazda 3 enables you to enjoy a new form of indulgence. Plus, all vehicle purchases come with 2 years free maintenance. The sales staff works on salary, not commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. That's the Hodges Mazda difference. Visit Hodges Mazda online today at hodgesmazda.com. See dealer for details. $3,499 due at lease signing. Terms of fees for qualified lessees. 36-month lease expires July 31st, 2023.
Tomorrow night, witness the thunderous clash of two rugby league titans. Your ratified Credit Union Jacksonville Axemen take on the Tampa Mayhem at 6:30. Tickets start at $10 and free for kids under 13. Details at jacksaxmen.com.
When you hear that phone ring on 1010XL, hello, we're bringing you another great guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Where's the phone? Over there.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line on 1010XL.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
Hey, poker players! The Card Player Poker Tour is back at Best Bet Jacksonville from August 10th to the 21st. The tournament schedule's packed with excitement and features 9 different poker tournaments, including the $1,700 no-limit Hold'em Mystery Bounty Main Event with a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool. Head to BestBetJacks.com for the full schedule and information. That's BestBetJacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
6 lanes, tail lights, red ants marching into the night.
We've had such a busy show, haven't even mentioned that we have 3 pairs of tickets to give away to go see Tim McGraw. The concert was just announced earlier today. He's coming here during the standing room only tour alongside Carly Pierce. He'll be here Thursday, March 14th at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Your first chance to win a pair of tickets is right now. Be caller number 3 at 641-1010. Caller number 3, 641-1010. You will win a pair of tickets to go see Carly Pierce opening for Tim McGraw. Frank, you just saw Tim McGraw not too long ago.
Very good. I saw him at Daly's place. What's your favorite? Is this your favorite Tim McGraw song?
Oh, goodness. That's so hard to choose. I have so many. Mine would probably be one that is not as popular for other people, but
you're a deep cut girl, are you?
not necessarily deep cut, but just to see you smile.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great song.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's
not a
not deep cut,
okay.
but it's not like one of the ones that we're going to play today necessarily.
Do you care about Tim McGraw at all? I know you don't know a big country. No, but he cares about some popular stuff like that. No?
I like the song he does about the tractor.
Okay.
That's Kenny Chesney.
Good. But I get the point. Or the truck, or the dog, or the beer.
Right. Or the heartbreak.
Is that Tim McGraw with Nelly, Lauren?
Yes, that's Tim McGraw with Nelly.
Yeah, that's my joint right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like about 7 or 8 of his songs a lot. I think
There's probably 30.
I don't know that.
This is a concert where I always tell you all that I study
Yeah.
for concerts. This is one I would not need to study for. I could go in and know every single word.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe 10 songs. I really like something like that because I've had a barbecue stain on my white T-shirt. So that's probably my.
I can understand that.
I mean, we've all, when you were growing up in the South without a whole lot of money, you probably had a barbecue stain on your white T-shirt somewhere. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. That means you're eating good barbecue.
That's exactly right. A couple things we want to get to. The Big 12 has been we thought it was over, Hayes. We thought the expansion was over for a while, and then Colorado kind of popped us in the mouth, didn't it?
Really did.
It looks like everything we talked about yesterday as a possibility is where this thing's headed. I told you guys yesterday they weren't stopping at 11.
Right.
Or is it 11? Yeah, it's 11, right?
It is no, because they're losing 2, but adding 4.
It's 13. So it's 13. They're not stopping at
right.
My bad. They weren't stopping at 13. They weren't. They just weren't stopping at 13. So the reality is they were going to go beyond 13. So for me, I said I'll bet you they try and get Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. Well, that's now clearly the target. And if you think about it, and the stuff you're reading today. George, however you pronounce his last name, Klyatov, he's the guy that really dropped the ball. Apparently, when Texas and Oklahoma bolted, and USC and UCLA bolted, that a number of those Big 12 teams wanted to be courted by the Pac-12, including all the Texas schools. They wanted to go west, and the Pac-12 said, "No, we're standing pat. We're fine just the way we are." That might be the ultimate storyline here, is how badly the Pac-12 dropped the ball on all of this.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because it's going to lead to their, I think, if not destruction, I think certainly their relegation. We don't normally use that term in college football, but those schools in that conference that remain are going to be relegated in the minds of experts and analysts that cover college football and in the committees that determine who gets into the playoff. It's really incredible that the Big 12, as we stand here today, looks like it is going to outlast the Pac-12. That would have been a sucker's bet, a year ago. And again, I'm fascinated to see what Oregon does, because to me, Oregon is the best athletic brand that is still out there for the taking. And if the Big Ten is not going to take them immediately, then I think if you're Oregon, you've got to be calling the Big 12. The last thing you can do is remain in whatever the pack is going to be. So
6-pack.
Yeah. And so it's I think there's a lot of schools that have to be really lobbying, and what we've learned is that if you stand pat, you lose.
For most of my life, the SEC has been the best, not necessarily the highest revenue stream, but the best conference. In the 70s, which conference, 80s, 90s, what was the most powerful conference?
That's a great question. I would say the Big Ten, but they were very even. I would say the Big Ten, remember, Penn State wasn't in the Big Ten. So Penn State was an independent.
And the Big 12 had Nebraska then?
There was
no Big 8.
There was no Big 12.
And the Southwest.
There was the Big 8. And so you're right. The Big 10 is the one people knew the best, to your point. But the reality was that's a great question, Lauren. There was great balance. The SEC had Alabama and everybody else, Georgia and Auburn in the 80s, but Alabama and everybody else. The Big 10 was the most, to Hayes' point, I agree, was the most well-known because they had Ohio State and Michigan. The Big 8 had Oklahoma and Nebraska. And it was the Big 2 and the Little 6 is what they called them.
Mm-hmm.
It was Oklahoma, Nebraska, and then a bunch of teams nobody cared about. The Southwest Conference had Texas and Texas A&M and Arkansas. And then the Southwest and the Big 8 merged to form the Big 12. So there were two separate conferences. And then it was the Pac-8, and then I think it was the Pac-10 forever.
It was.
And then in the Pac-8 forever till they added the Arizona schools, and then it was the Pac-10 forever till they added Utah and Colorado. And Colorado at the time was in the Big 8. So I would say there was balance, and I would say the other group that was just as balanced, might have been the best of all of them, was the independent group, because the independents were Penn State, Notre Dame, Florida State, Miami, just those four. When you have Penn State, Florida State, Miami, and Notre Dame, pretty good group of independents, right?
Yeah.
So there was balance among all of that. I would say there was real balance among all those.
I never knew Penn State was an independent. I just assumed they'd been in the Big Ten this whole time.
I'll bet Penn State didn't join the Big Ten till the 90s.
That's what I would think.
I would say Penn State probably joined the Big Ten in the 90s.
Because Paterno had a year where he went undefeated and didn't get the national title.
1993.
Yeah, 93. Yeah, they were an independent until 93. Yeah, and so now where we move forward, I do think the Big 12 is going to pursue the four corner schools, which is they've already got Colorado. They're going to pursue Utah and the two Arizona schools. I really do think, and Lauren, you threw it out yesterday. I think if they get them, I really do think you're going to see. You have to see some sort of a combination of the ACC and the Pac, no matter how crazy it is. Okay, I mean, I almost see you have to. How about this? Someone, and this isn't my idea. Somebody tweeted this, but I thought it was. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. The American Coastal Conference.
Okay.
Meaning you're on two coasts.
Right.
You're on the Atlantic coast. You're on the Pacific coast. All right. The Atlantic North. Boston College, Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. 5 teams in the Atlantic North. Just stay with me. The Atlantic South. Clemson, FSU, Miami, Georgia Tech, and add South Florida. Okay. The Pacific South. Arizona State, Arizona, Cal, Stanford, and add San Diego State. Okay. The Atlantic Central. Louisville, NC State, Wake Forest, North Carolina, Duke. And the Pacific North. Oregon, Washington State, Oregon State, Utah. Okay. Now, is there enough money to be split? Maybe not. You'd have to gain way more money to have a 20.
How many teams did you just name?
20.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25. 25.
I was going to say
25. There's 25. I just ran off 25 teams. I don't think.
And this isn't a single conference.
Yeah, I don't think that's
not going to work.
But
and also they can't have odd numbers, is what we've learned.
Yeah. But what I do think is some sort of a combination, that alliance that Kevin Warren suckered them all into before bailing on them, somehow, because if not, the Pac-10 schools are dead. By the way, nobody is attractive as Oregon and Washington seem to be. Nobody wants them.
Right.
No matter how, the Big Ten has no interest.
I don't know why the ACC would want Oregon and Washington and have to deal with all that travel.
Well, that's the problem. The problem with a real conference is the Olympic sport travel. You couldn't have that. But somehow, whether it's just two conferences agreeing to play each other, maybe that's what it is, agreeing to have a championship game against each other. But I don't see any way. I think the Big 12 has raced past the ACC with this move. I think if they get the four corner schools, haven't they raced past? Because with all due respect to the ACC,
I don't think so.
God, boy, Hayes,
you still need some heavy hitters at the top of your lineup. And what does the Big 12 have without Oklahoma and Texas?
No, I'm with you, but boy, that's all the ACC has is the two heavy hitters. That's literally all they have. I mean, in football.
Yeah, but I mean, like you put Miami in the Big 12, and they're probably one of the more marquee teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
I mean, again, we just haven't seen the Big 12 yet without Texas and Oklahoma.
Right.
But it is going to look very mediocre when those two schools are no longer in that conference.
All right.
I mean, who's carrying the flag?
Right.
At least the ACC has two programs in Clemson and Florida State that can absolutely carry the flag. And then they've got Miami and some others that, I'm not trying to sell it as some amazing football conference, but I do think that I do think your heavy hitters mean more than.
So, yeah, I hear you. Fair point. So what
right now, by the way, TCU is leading the pack.
Yeah.
Based off of what just happened last season.
And it may be 7 years before you hear from them again.
If you're the Big 12 and you get these four corner schools, because I think there's a chance they're going to get those, then they stand pat. Then they're at 16 and they shut down. They're at 16, same number the Big 10, same number the SEC. That leaves 6 schools in the what was the pack. if they don't add San Diego State or anybody else, at least 6 schools. Oregon, Washington, Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal. If you're those schools, you reach out to whatever conference will take you. I don't think anyone's taking them.
I agree.
It doesn't seem like anybody wants them. So then what do?
You poach. You poach the Mountain West, and you go and you add Boise and Colorado State and Fresno State and San Diego State, and that's 4.
Yeah.
UNLV would be at least you're getting Vegas. So I mean,
and then you just hope that then you just acknowledge that you're the 5th of the 5. Then you just acknowledge your last.
And your revenue is going to be so much lower than the other 4 that it's going to be hard to compete year in and year out.
And here's what else apparently, all this stuff I'm reading today was really interesting, is that one gigantic mistake they made being so close, particularly Cal and Stanford, which are right there, being so close to Silicon Valley, which has helped you in so many other industries, has probably hurt the Pac-12. Because there's been so much talk about cutting a streaming deal for your television rights. And right now, linear TV still wins. Maybe cord cutting eventually will win. But right now, the big dollars are coming from linear television operations. They're coming from CBS and NBC and more prominently ESPN and Fox. So it's really going to be interesting. I'll bet you next year both Arizona schools and Utah are in the Big 12 by 24.
I think so too.
I think all 4. I'll bet you all 4. Agree or disagree?
I don't know if it'll be as fast as 2024. I don't know about the legality part of it, but because obviously Oklahoma and Texas, it took them longer to exit. But as long as there's nothing that prevents them, then sure.
Yeah, there's no grant of rights because Colorado's going in 24.
If I was Oregon and Washington, again, I'd make one more call to the Big Ten and say it's now or never. And if they're saying we're not sure what we're going to do yet, I would be on the phone to the Big 12. And I think if you're the Big 12 and I don't know so much about Washington. I would take Washington if I was the Big 12.
Yeah, I would too.
But if you can get Oregon and Washington, I would go to 18.
Go to 18. That's a good point. That's a good point. There's so much going on, but apparently the Big Ten has no interest in those 2 schools. Apparently, and again, I say that based on everything you're reading. And I mean, they've had Oregon and Washington have won it in from the get-go. And apparently the Big Ten has no interest.
It is interesting that they're just going to have USC and UCLA just out there with no one else.
Well, I will say this. What the Big Ten has done, for better or worse, whether they're getting it right or getting it wrong, the one thing they have done, they have pursued markets. They went and got Rutgers. Who gives a damn about Rutgers? But they got them to get New York City. They went and got Maryland. Who cares about Maryland? But they went and got them to get Washington, D.C. And they coveted in the worst way Georgia Tech. Everybody says they coveted North Carolina and Duke. I never heard that. But the people I do know in college football, the administrators, told me from day one the Big Ten absolutely covets Georgia Tech for one reason, the Atlanta market. And then more and more talk you heard is if there was no grant of rights, the other school they'd go after is Miami for the market. So back to your point, they clearly wanted that L.A. market. Now, why wouldn't they want the San Francisco market, to your point, or the Seattle market? Apparently not. That's one conference that has been very once they got Rutgers, you knew where they were headed. They wanted markets. That was pretty obvious.
Can you imagine being like on the USC tennis team or the UCLA golf team, swimming team, volleyball team, and seeing your road schedule? I mean, and basically saying to yourself, we're going to live in the air all semester. I mean, all semester, you're going to be in the air.
You better pack efficiently because you're going to be packing a lot.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, honestly, so pretty amazing stuff. Second break. We come back. I got a thought about your guy, Graham Mertz.
I love Graham Mertz.
That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
At 1010XL,
wax on, wax off.
Our sports experts undergo extensive training before they broadcast.
Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Hey.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Wax on, hot.
1010XL.
Wax off.
It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 per month.
Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 per month. Arlington Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock and more than 100 vehicles under $18K. You even get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Shop the Big One sales event, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and ArlingtonToyota.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Showtime always has a stellar inventory of sports collectibles. What really stands out currently, LaMelo Ball's signature shoes that are autographed, and a Trevor Lawrence full-size helmet autographed and inscribed with, "It was always the Jags." Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Hey, this is Jason with Bueller Air Conditioning. Why do we love to go to that awesome grocery store where shopping is a pleasure? Why do we choose that amazing chicken sandwich where the service is fast and friendly and it's always their pleasure? You see, those brands are a promise. Here at Bueller Air, our team is committed to serving the customer and delivering that same kind of brand promise. Our mission is to be the most trusted brand with friendly and professional service every single time. Give us a call today or visit BuellerAir.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3, work!
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reich Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Hey, Jacksonville, we need your help. It may be summer, but school is just around the corner. Hundreds of local homeless, at-risk, and low-income students need school supplies. One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, is collecting school supplies through July 30th, so our most vulnerable kids can start the school year right. Be a good person and help us fill 350 backpacks this summer. Bring donations to your nearest One-to-One Financial branch. Learn more and find the closest branch at 121fcu.org. And don't forget, the school supply tax holiday is the last week of July. Thanks, Jacksonville.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. It's time to take control. Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take back your quality of life today with QC Kinetics. Call them today at 904-274-5522 to set up an appointment at their Mandarin or Ponte Vedra locations. Take control with QC Kinetics. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime, no more pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. QC Kinetics takes your body's own healing agents and concentrates them in the area where you have pain. You can repair and restore damaged tissue naturally through regenerative medicine. The summer is here. You need to be out there having fun, making memories, golfing, walks on the beach, enjoying your life. Take control now and start living pain-free. No surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics has locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call them today at 274-5522. That's 274-5522.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community-owned utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire additional agents for aggressive collections enforcement. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your business. There's no time to waste. Call J. David Tax Law, a firm right here in Jacksonville, for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Mystic Cornhole Company is on the move. The store where excitement meets excellence is relocating this month to the corner of Hogan and Parental Home Road. And you can always find them online at mysticcornhole.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
Spent $48 last night at the county fair. I throwed out my shoulder, but I want her that teddy bear. She's got me saying sugar pie, honey, darling, and dear. I ain't seen the Braves play a game all year.
A little more Tim McGraw for you. If you're paying attention, then you know what that means. That means your next chance to win a pair of tickets is right now. Be caller number 4-641-1010. That's right, E.T. Sing it. Everybody knows this song. I like it. I love it. Carly Pierce will be opening for Tim McGraw. It's the Standing Room Only tour. If you're not familiar, Tim McGraw's one of his latest songs is called Standing Room Only. It's a great song. He is coming to the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena Thursday, March 14th. Again, your chance to win the second pair of tickets is now. The tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. So be sure if you don't win any of the free pairs of tickets today, you go online and get your tickets for March 14th.
The Hayes Carline headphone removal that time might have been
I had a
legendary.
feeling it was coming, honestly.
That might have been.
I had a scratch on my ear.
That might have been the greatest. That might have been the greatest headphone removal I've ever seen. Like in headphone removal history, if you go through the archives of headphone removals,
good.
That was like legendary.
If you're gonna do something, do it right.
He talked about the Braves, or did you have it all?
I ain't seen the Braves play a game all year.
Was the headphone off before he got to?
Probably,
yeah.
He's a fine actor.
And by the way, that would be his anthem. I think we were talking to Tom Fridley about that. That's the anthem. Don't you think?
It's so hard for me to choose
But
because of all three. I mean, all three songs. I think the next one, of course, coming up a little later. I think you could also say that's the anthem.
Okay.
But you were at the concert and you said that was the one that
That's the
people.
one.
Okay.
And Tom, we were talking about with Tom. Tom thinks that one's the anthem. And I trust Tom's judgment on quarterbacks. I'm getting a Graham Mertz on music. Here, Billy Napier should right now announce Graham Mertz as a starter. I think this. He's a starter.
Yeah, it won't be long.
It was pretty clear, and he's gonna and he wants to be respectful to Jack Miller and the other guys, and I get all that. But I think if I'm Florida, I breathe confidence not to Mertz. He's started 32 games. If he's not confident now, he's not going to be. I don't doubt that guy's going to lack any confidence. The way you put it earlier, Hayes, the moment's never going to be too big for him. If he's not good, it's because he's not good, not because the moment's big. Okay, so he's not gonna struggle with any of the moments. He's played at Michigan and Ohio State. The moments, those are probably pretty big moments. Okay, so, but I think there's been so much made about him not being very good. I would breathe life. I would breathe confidence into the rest of the team about him. I would put him up in front of every press conference. I would have him. I would be promoting him left because Billy wants to. He can't quit talking about how great he is and how if we'd signed him right now, I would name him right now. And if not right, I guess it's hard now because you said it's going to be early in camp. It would be the first day or two of camp for me.
They have an open practice, I think, on August the 5th.
Yes.
They open camp Monday. So I think it could come shortly after that, would be my guess. I'd have no problem if he announced Mertz now, but, I see some merit in give it a week, let Jack Miller at least feel like he was given some opportunity. Again, Jack Miller did transfer from Ohio State. It's not like he, is from Furman. And again, he really didn't have much of a chance. It's hard to evaluate him based on the bowl game when everybody basically opted out on him. So I think you have to take it through for a week, and then, but I get your point. I'm glad, I was relieved to hear that Napier is not taking the decision to like Wednesday of the Utah week.
Right, which is what coaches like to do.
Yes, I do think that the offense and the team needs clarity. They need leadership. They need a steady hand, which is what Graham Mertz should be. He may not be very talented, but I don't think he's going to get rattled. And so, there can be some benefit to that because Florida is going to be incredibly young. They're going to be incredibly young at receiver. And you want a veteran quarterback that can communicate to them early on in camp, look, this is what I need here on this route. And the young player can look at that quarterback and take it in because that player knows that's the quarterback. So this isn't a guy competing for his job. This is the guy. So I think there's value in it. I would do it early. I think Napier's making the right decision, but I don't think it has to be like as you go into camp, you announce it. I would give it a week, get through that open practice, and then name Mertz the starter probably on the following Monday.
So what if during the week and during the open practice, Mertz isn't very good?
Well, hopefully by now you know that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence may have a bad day. There's quarterbacks that have I would think if by now a bad day is going to shelve him as your quarterback, well, then you really haven't decided. I don't believe that. My point is I don't believe that's the case. I believe he's their quarterback. What if Jordan Travis has a bad day? He's their quarterback.
Right. It's just I feel like you put yourself in a little bit of a bind when you say we're going to announce pretty early in camp, but you didn't announce before media days. You didn't bring your quarterback to media days. And then if that quarterback is not performing well, then you don't really want to announce at that point in time. But obviously he has faith in him.
Yeah, well, that's why I would do it now. I would have by now announced him as my quarterback. And again, I think Billy is old school as they get, man. Toughness and commitment and show up and work hard, and coaches who are like that want to make they're the ones that always talk about competition, and I get that, but I think this team needs to have a clear, dedicated leader. As much as the Anthony Richardson stuff didn't go great last year all the time, it was clear from the get-go he was their leader, and I think that served them well. Look, at times he didn't play well, which is what worked against them. But you knew going in he was that team's leader on many fronts, and I think a team needs that. If you really didn't know who the guy was going to be, if Jack Miller had played half the season last year, and then he said, okay, he transferred from Ohio State, and he played 6 games last year, but he really didn't play. You can't count that bowl game when nobody was on the team. So you're talking about a guy that played 32 starts. That is how many quarterbacks of the 130 schools? Of the 130 schools who will start a quarterback to start the season, how many of those 130 have 32 college starts?
I think Napier has said it's the most in the country.
It would have to be, right? It would have to be close, wouldn't it? If it's not the most, there can't be many.
I don't know if that's true. Sam Hartman has to have started a bunch of games. At this point, Jordan Travis has to be up there in terms of number of starts. Yeah. But Napier has said that Mertz is maybe he said among the most in the country.
I can't imagine there's many that have started. It was 32 games. That's you averaged.
It's nearly 3 years.
Yeah. Well, that's almost 11 starts per year for 3 years. That means. Even guys that are coming back for their senior year might have been hurt somewhere along the line. Jordan Travis took a while to earn the starting job. 32 starts means you average almost 11 starts a season for 3 seasons. I can't imagine. So, that's why we know he's the quarterback. We know this guy Jack Miller, who's barely played, is not beating him out. So I just think there's at some point, and maybe they are. Again, I'll say this again. If you did not hear Billy Napier when we were with him at SEC Media Days, it was extremely unusual, and I think wonderfully unusual, that he is this ticked off that people don't think his team's going to be good. He is really. I've gone to that thing almost every year. I can remember very few times when a coach was annoyed at how low his team was picked. I've seen a lot of coaches annoyed at how high their team were picked, right? But I've seen very few coaches annoyed at how low his team was picked.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the open practice. That's a good point. But my guess is Billy's going to pull Austin Armstrong aside before that practice and say, hey, don't send the kitchen sink at us every play like you did in the spring game.
Hey, Austin, I'm going to give you a day off before the season. The season is a grind. You're going to go to the beach on that Saturday, August 5th, and we're going to practice without you there.
Right. Yeah, I guess. But
and they're going to script it to make sure Graham Mertz looks good. To your point, Frank. If Graham Mertz is going to be the starter, they're going to make sure that he looks really good in that practice.
Yeah, if you're doing it for public consumption.
The other thing, too, is, is it really going to be like an orange and blue game, or is it going to be situational, and how does that stuff go? So it may not even lend it. Obviously, it's going to lend itself to having an opinion about how Graham Mertz performed, but will it be like the orange and blue game, or will it be a lot of situational stuff? My guess is it'll be more situational than scrimmage, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk about some NFL quarterbacking news. We'll get back to some Jaguar talk. We have a little bit of a direction of which way Joe Burrow is headed now. Boy, that injury happened right after we got off the air, didn't it? We'll talk about that and more when we continue. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Find the high groove.
Hey, boys, watch this.
This Sunday at Richmond, brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube, servicing every customer like they're famous. On Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
When it's the hottest day of the summer. But it's the hottest day of the summer. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Introducing an exciting update from Duck Duck Rooter. We're thrilled to expand our services with the launch of Duck Duck Air Conditioning. As a fully licensed mechanical contractor, our skilled team is equipped to handle any air conditioning and refrigeration project you have in mind. Contact Duck Duck Air Conditioning today at 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769. Or visit us online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, your reliable partner in air conditioning and refrigeration services.
Do you need a doctor today? For all your healthcare needs, I found Reliance Primary and Urgent Care. They were huge for me when I needed a doctor that day. Not 3 weeks later like my PCP said. 3 weeks? I need help today. The level of service and compassion is what you will experience at Reliance. At 295 and Southside Boulevard, Dr. Patel and his staff are committed to providing the best patient experience and advocate for your healthcare needs. Visit them online at relianceprimary.com.
1010XL's Friday Restaurant of the Day is Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill. Open daily at 4. Catch all the MLB weekend action with a ticket. Always at Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill. A great place to watch baseball.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight?
Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher that offers take-and-bake side options that are oven-ready.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you're a Jaguars fan who's always on the move, we've got the perfect ticket for you with our Bundle at the Bank. You can purchase tickets to 3 or more games, starting at just $58 per game. Whether you're working around a work schedule or excited to share the hometown team with out-of-town family, you get the flexibility you want for your time at Everbank this fall. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 to get your Bundle at the Bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to one commercial today, listen to this one.
Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are doing it again, recognizing the local heroes in our community with a brand new car. That's right, we'll be giving away a brand new car, cash, and free oil changes for life to our local heroes. Nominate a law enforcement officer, firefighter, EMT, nurse, teacher, veteran, or your local WOW hero. Head to localwowheroes.com to nominate and vote today. Let's wow our heroes.
Yo, yo, yo! Are you looking for the lowest price on car insurance? ET here for Australia Car Insurance. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE today. Australia is your quick and easy alternative to pay less for car insurance. Switch and save money. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANce today.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
Have you been to the Bald Eagle Pub? It has every game on 20 TVs, live music Monday with blues rock, karaoke Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also on Wednesday, boozy bingo. Thursday night is open mic. Bring your instrument and get after it. New patio, you have smoking. Also, you can purchase cigars. It's time to check out the veteran-owned Bald Eagle Pub, 5398 Timuquana Road.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by the YMCA of Florida's first co-signing team. Defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell spoke with the media after practice earlier this morning, where he spoke on former first-round draft pick Travon Walker.
Right now, because we haven't put the pads on, we haven't gone against a different opponent, but you can see the confidence in him, the way he moves around the field, the way he's more vocal, making checks, and just the way he aligns, just more confident, and, I'm excited for him, ready to go.
And in some more Jacksonville Jaguar news, open practice will resume tomorrow at the Miller Electric Center. Parking lots open at 7 a.m. The gates will open at 8 a.m. and practice will begin at 8:45. Currently, it's 16:59 and it's 86 degrees. Your time and your temp is brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller. Stay tuned for more with The Frangie Show next right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
All right, let's bring in our friend Pete Prisco. Joins us from CBSSports.com. It's always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. The best in vintage cards, terrific autographed items. You know where it is, Phillips and Shad, or you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Pete, you heading to town? What are you doing, man?
I will be there Sunday.
All right. Well, when do you get in?
Well, we were going to debate that, whether we get in early and go play some golf or we get in later and don't play any golf.
Let me work on that, and I will text you tomorrow morning. How's that?
Yeah, it's me, Spielman, and Dane. We'll all be in there.
Let's see if I can set that up for maybe tomorrow or Sunday afternoon. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
For sure. That'll be kind of fun. We'll see what we can put together just in your honor. How about that? We'll figure it out.
That'd be great. I've been hacking the ball around when I've played so poorly. It would be just another round to play bad.
Well, good. You know what? And that'll be just fine. So, hey, all right. The Jags have been on the field 3 days. Everybody's excited. The Miller Electric Center is fantastic. I can't wait to see what you think when you see it. But what's the vibe? What are you hearing down there? Calvin Ridley looks spectacular from up here, Pete.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the practice, footage, and he looks sensational. I mean, he really does, and that's not a surprise. It really isn't. It's not a surprise to me. I think he's going to be one of the best acquisitions the entire offseason for any team. He just changes the dynamic, and I've noticed they moved him inside of Kirk on some of those plays. He's running from inside the slot, which I like. I think he gives him a lot of flexibility, and it's going to help open up the offense. I think it's a great addition, and he seems like he's 100% focused on becoming a great player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he obviously had some numbers, but I had no idea he was this good. I mean, it's been 3 days and 3 straight days of Calvin Ridley pretty much being the MVP of the practice.
His feet and his route running are sensational. I mean, that's the thing. And, and I think one of the Jaguar people, or somebody put that one thing up where Zay Jones ran a route and then Ridley ran it right after him. And my God, I mean, the difference in his breakdown, his ability to set up the defensive back. And that's what he was the last year in Atlanta when he was actually full go. And, the story is the next year he was hurt the whole year. You guys know that one. And wasn't the same player. He looks healthy. He looks really like he's going to be an impact wide receiver and a number one wide receiver, and maybe even better than some of us even expected. That would be incredible. If he could become, and you talk to players around the league and other people in the league, and if he could become one of those guys, and by those guys I mean Jefferson and Chase and that kind of special, wow, that offense could be dynamic.
Pete, I know you'll be there Monday. You'll also be there Tuesday, I'm guessing?
Tuesday morning, yep. And
Okay,
then we got to head to Tampa and watch the night practice in Tampa.
Okay, and that's good because you'll get to see no pads on Monday and pads on Tuesday.
Oh, I love pads. I mean, that's when you can really tell. I mean, and you want to see the offensive line, and you can look at some of those plays and see what they're doing. I noticed, and I don't know if you guys have focused in a little bit on Harrison. He seems like he's holding up over there in some of the stuff I've seen, and I think that's a good thing for them. It's kind of funny though. There's no pads, and they're doing some drills, but if the defense doesn't get pressure, is that good for the offense, or is that a red flag? You know what I mean? One way or the other, they need both to be good. They need the tackles to play well, and they also need to be able to rush the passer.
And obviously, when you see him, I'll have a lot of questions for what you think, particularly when you see him in pads. Other things around the league, Joe Burrow, what's the latest? I guess he said calf strain, Zach Taylor did today. Calf strain a number of weeks. Do you know any more than that? What's your gut on how this plays out, Pete?
No, that's what I heard. Calf strain, a couple weeks, and I will be surprised if he plays in the preseason at all. And if I were them, I would not put him on the field until it really matters late in the training camp practices, and because you don't have to. There's no reason. He's worked with Chase. He's worked with Boyd. He's worked with Higgins. They don't need him around. They need him to be healthy. And one thing about those calf injuries, and anybody's been around the league knows this, when you have a little calf issue, it's really easy for it to come back. Once you think you're ready to go, it happens again. And so that's what you got to be cautious with them. Look, the good news was when I first saw that, I thought that was an Achilles. And so the good news is that it's not. One other thing about that situation, get your contract, Joe. You're going to get back out there again soon, but go out there and get that contract. I mean, you're going to become the highest paid player in the league, but make sure you get it. And even if it's 3 years, heavy 3 years, don't tear it up and do it again in 3 years. So get your money. Get yourself a $54 million per year deal with a lot of guaranteed money. And even if it has some dummy years in the back end, they'll redo it 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete, I'm curious to get your thoughts about just sort of leadership in today's NFL, in terms of good teams maybe becoming championship teams, and if leadership plays much of a role in that, in your opinion. The Jaguars feel like a team that can become more player-led, player-driven, because of their closeness, because of their professionalism. Does that matter in your opinion? Can that make a difference, or it's just the best players are going to win the games?
16 has to become that guy. I mean, this is a league where stars are your leaders, period. And, everybody always says, well, maybe this guy can be a leader, that guy can be a leader. Your stars have to be your leaders. What they do, everybody follows. And so, and he's a great guy in terms of what he does, the way he handles his business. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Last year, first year with Doug Peterson, probably a little hesitant to step up like he probably should have. Well, it's year 3, so this is his team now, and I think that's where that comes from. But yeah, it's great to have players who do it by example and you follow. And the rah-rah stuff, I never was big on that. I never believed that, even back in the day when I played in high school. I think people follow the good players and what they do and how they handle their business. And if they're doing it the right way, then you'll do it the right way. And if you do it the right way, the guy behind you will do it the right way. And I think that's the way leadership is. And I think that they have this makeup of that in large part because Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback.
Pete, we also saw an injury to Jalen Ramsey, Dolphins cornerback, obviously former Jaguar. I know people like to have him in the top 5. Do you think he's still that good of a corner?
Yes, I do. I think when he's playing at his best, he's the best corner. And he can do so many different things. And that's a big hit for that defense because in Fangio's defense, you have to have good corners. Guys who can play man, guys who can play off man, and guys who can move around. And he could do that. They use him at a bunch of different spots with the Rams. He played that star position. He could line up inside, line up outside, could rush. And so when you have to drop down to Cater Kohu and Cam Smith, who's a rookie, that's a big drop-off, and it's going to be a long rehab process. I mean, it's probably December, and when he gets back, how healthy is he going to be? So it's a big hit for the Dolphins. It's a big hit for Vic Fangio.
What's the buzz around the league at a Jets camp? Already some controversy. Sean Payton really critical of Nathaniel Hackett. Robert Saleh talks back. They're on Hard Knocks now. Well, what's the buzz out of Jets camp as you hear it?
Well, I mean, Rodgers looks like Rodgers, and he looks like he's pot committed. I mean, he's in all in. I mean, he gave up $35 million. Why would he ever do that? But he did, and so he's all in. They're going to be good if the offensive line's good, and that's supposedly been a problem in camp early on. It's been an issue. They haven't been able to run the ball. They've been getting really beat up front by the defensive line, and I know it's no pads, but that's never a good sign. They have issues on that offensive line. If they don't fix it, it's going to be a problem even with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So I think that's the biggest concern. We know they're going to be good on defense. Robert Saleh is a great defensive coach. They have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. Rodgers can sling it, but boy, if that offensive line isn't any good, it's not going to matter.
Pete, what do you think is a fair expectation for Trayvon Walker in year 2?
I did see some footage of him, and looks like he's using his hands better, which is good. I think that's a good thing. And if he has developed moves and the ability to use his hands, I think he can get double-digit sacks. Because last year, he was just running smack dab into the tackle every single time. There was no ability to use his hands or come up with moves or spins or anything. And I think that's the difference. What you don't know right now, and that's why it's hard to evaluate Jacksonville's football team for a lot of people, particularly outside the market. They don't know that these guys are going to get better. From year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, you get better. And that's why Jacksonville's going to be a better football team. It's not going to be better because they went out and picked up a guy here and there. They're going to be better because guys are going to improve. Lloyd will be better. Walker will be better. Young players will be better, and that's the biggest growth you have as a football team. You want them in year 2 to year 3, year 3 to year 4, year 4 to year 5. Those are the years you want those guys improving, and by the time they get to year 5, you have a heck of a football team.
Pete, earlier today, Rayshon Jenkins met with the media, and he said that he believes this is a top 5 defense. If the pass rush does come along, do you think that's possible?
I don't see that. I mean, look, they got a corner issues. Questions. I think they're still there. You got to prove the pass rush. If they get, like Pacelli said, they get 25 sacks, then okay, maybe the two starters. But if not, then I think it's going to be a problem. I think they're going to score a ton of points. They're going to have to score a ton of points. Even if that defense gets into the top 12, somewhere in that vicinity, top 13, 14, they're going to be a deep playoff team because that offense is going to be potent and score a lot of points.
Pete, final thing. What are you hearing about DeAndre Hopkins in Nashville? Any word about how he's done with the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, he checked out of one practice early, but he's been okay. Look, you see video of him and talking to people. He still can do what he does, which is go up and get those 50-50 balls. He's a physical receiver. He's not going to run by anybody. But you know what? He gives them a little bit of juice on that roster, and they had young receivers. I mean, Burks was going to be the other guy. He'll probably end up being the number 1 wide receiver, but You need to get a guy like that in the building. Would I have done that if I'm the Tennessee Titans? Probably not. But I understand it when you look at what they had in the building.
Pete Prisco talking NFL with us. Nobody does it better. He'll be in town to watch the Jags next week and really get some perspective. Pete, we'll check in on golf in a bit. Thanks for checking in, man. See you soon.
All right, guys. Look forward to it.
Pete Prisco, he'll be in town. He'll be at camp Monday and Tuesday, and then heading down to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice. As always, Pete's Report is brought to you by Showtime, sports cards and collectibles. They've got those great vintage cards, all those autographed items. You can't imagine how big and beautiful that place is. So much to choose from, easy to find at the corner of Phillips and Shad Road. You also can find Showtime on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. More in a moment on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
The most Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
The most Jaguars.
That's a touchdown for Jacksonville.
1010XL, radio home of the Gators and Jags.
It's back! The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now's the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and their 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Lansing Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, Carline here, and let's talk getting rid of pain with QC Kinetics. Get lasting relief from joint pain without surgery or drugs. QC Kinetics has clinics in Ponte Vedra near me and in Mandarin on San Jose. Call 904-274-5522. They've elevated their game with new medical director Dr. Peter Atch, a renowned triple board certified doctor with decades of experience. Look, if you're tired of living with pain in your back, hips, shoulders, or knees, don't let anyone tell you surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation at 274-5522. A free consultation. Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can get you real relief. Don't go under the knife. Don't deal with downtime. QC Kinetics takes the healing properties from your body, concentrates them, and puts them in your affected joint to restore the damaged tissue. QC Kinetics, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Go get a free consultation. Call them at 274-5522.
With reliable and honest auto service for over 60 years. Frank Frangie here. Our experienced technician will treat you like family when you visit for repairs, new tires, oil changes, and more. We're proud to announce our new Orange Park location to better serve customers with fair prices and quality service. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at one of 5 Jacksonville locations. We keep Jacks rolling.
Whether it's a large commercial project or a multifamily property, trust All Pro Roofing for exceptional craftsmanship and unparalleled customer service. We use only the finest materials, ensuring durability and long-lasting results. Plus, All Pro Roofing now has a full siding and windows division. That's right, All Pro Roofing is not just about roofs anymore. All Pro Roofing, now your trusted partner for commercial roofing, multifamily projects, exterior siding, and windows. AllProRoofingLLC.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138. Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Whether the Big Cats are on the field or not, I've got your inside scoop on your hometown team. Free agency, potential trades, you know you're going to want to tune in. Mia's Quick Hits continues this offseason on the social channels of 1010XL, driven by Arlington Toyota.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 11. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 and weekends. That's Bellwether Downtown.
'Tis the season to be cool. Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're not cooked like a Christmas goose this summer. Make sure your AC unit is ready for the heat, and if it's time to look at replacement, look for quality and value. You'll get that from Florida Home AC. And right now, take advantage of $1,750 off a brand new heating and AC unit. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for all the details and trust a company that will always keep you cool. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
If you want to get into broadcasting, 1010XL is partnering with the Broadcasters and Sportscasters Mentoring Group to offer on-air broadcast training to a select few. Find out how you can be mentored at getintobroadcasting.com. Getintobroadcasting.com.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frangie here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
The extracurricular activities, the traffic, the nightly homework, the traffic, the finding time to eat dinner together as a family, the traffic. Back to school can be stressful. Thanks to Ziploc, meal prep doesn't have to be. New Ziploc bags with Stay Open design have a patented stand-up bottom that helps keep the bag upright and a top grease that folds and holds for easy filling, unlocking a second set of hands in the kitchen. If only it unlocked a second set of lanes. New Ziploc brand freezer and storage bags with Stay Open design from S.C. Johnson, a family company.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to more of a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire, with 4 locations on the First Coast to serve you.
And some gasoline. And I drove out to the county fair. When I saw her for the first time, she was standing there in the ticket line. And it all started right then and there.
All right, your final chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Tim McGraw that's getting an only tour comes to ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena on Thursday, March 14th. Concert was just announced today. Be caller number 2 at 641-1010. Caller number 2, 641-1010. Carly Pierce opens up for Tim McGraw. If you didn't win any of the tickets today, make sure you head to Ticketmaster.com. They just went on sale today. Ticketmaster.com and get your tickets to go see Tim McGraw. And you've interviewed Tim McGraw before, Frank.
We've had him on the air. Rick Ballou and I had him on the air. Talked about Tug McGraw being his dad and how he found out. And Tug McGraw, certainly his mom, Tim's mom, still lives here in town. Still lives here in Jacksonville. So, we went to Terry Parker High School. And, very, very cool. He was a really good guy. It was really fun having him on. He was very open about everything. And I think we're thinking about having him on again before he comes, I think.
I'd love to.
I think there's a chance we will. So we'll be he's a big, he's been in a lot of movies. He's a country music megastar.
Absolutely.
But it really does appear to be kind of a regular guy when you have him on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's good. And of course, his wife is equally famous. I would say, Faith Hill.
Yeah, although it's funny, she's not around anymore, right? As a performer, you don't hear. At least I don't.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. But certainly in the 90s, I would say early 2000s, she was. The two of them would perform together times, and she was huge.
Yeah, I practice tomorrow. The last one for a few days. They have Sunday off, then back at the field on Monday. All right, 3 days in, Calvin Ridley, the story. It's like the story every day, right?
Story every
Frank,
day.
what'd you think today, Ridley? Next day, what'd you think? What's Ridley? Ridley. I mean, apart from him, all right, 3 days in, what's the story of the 3 days? The facility? The vibe.
Fans have been great.
The fans. What do you take out of it?
I think Etienne and Bigsby are going to be really good together. The aerial attack has been so impressive with Ridley leading the way, but Christian Kirk's been really precise. Zay Jones has done well. Evan Ingram's done really well. So I mean, Ridley has been phenomenal, but as a group, they've been phenomenal, and. But I really like what they have, obviously, in Etienne. But Bigsby looks like he's going to be good to me,
doesn't he?
So I'm eager to see that continue, And yeah, I would say just the environment. Obviously this is a spectacular new facility, and having the fans out. Today was an unbelievable crowd. It was a season ticket holder day, so really, really enthusiastic crowd. And yeah, I think everything right now. Knock on wood. Everybody's for the most part gotten through it, and so hopefully that continues for another 6 months. But yeah, I think everything has been positive. There really hasn't been anything that I've seen where I've been like, that doesn't look as good as what I'd hope.
Yeah, I think fans being allowed to attend training camp brings it up a notch for the players. It's not, obviously the fans enjoy it, but the players absolutely do. And I think the fans have certainly loved getting to see Calvin Ridley, and they make it known to him as well. Every time he catches a pass,
I know
the fans are very, loud, and they cheer also for other guys like Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Bigsby Etienne for sure. But Calvin, anytime he comes near them, they get very excited about that. I would say Trevor Lawrence, I'll watch him talk to the receivers off to the side. I'll watch him talk to Press Taylor, watch him talk to Doug Peterson. He definitely is in command of this offense. And we are already seeing him being able to tell guys, okay, I want you to do this a little bit differently, or check a play at the line of scrimmage. And those are huge. And I think, Trevor obviously knows how important this year is. And he, I think, worked incredibly hard all offseason. And I would say also that the defense does have a little bit of spice to them, Frank. They may not be a top 5 defense, like Rayshawn said, but they're trying to intercept they're getting close to intercepting passes. There's been a few times that the play would have been a sack, but like for instance today, there was a completion by Trevor, but Devin Lloyd absolutely would have sacked him had the play been live.
My guess is, by the way, in terms of the preseason and how you play, Pete was talking about with Joe Burrow. My guess is, and maybe the Burrow thing gets everybody's attention, I would guess for Trevor and the starters, won't play at all the first game. We'll play a quarter to a quarter and a half in Detroit, and obviously won't dress for the Miami game. Agree or disagree?
I think it might even be less. I think I'll say they play in the preseason opener at Dallas, but it's like one series and they're out.
A series.
Yeah, not very much. But I do think they'll play. And then in Detroit, because you've had the joint practices, I'd sit 25 guys. And then
wouldn't play them at all.
I don't think I'd play them. I know that lines up with the game that you do play them the most in the 3-game format. But the fact that you're having your joint practices with Detroit that week,
right.
I wouldn't go through joint practices and then put them out there for a quarter and a half of that. That's a lot of going against somebody else. So it would be very minimal
that
for
makes
me.
some sense.
And then in the third one, I don't think I'd suit them up.
So you'd really only play in one game, the first one?
I think so. And even then it would be very, very brief.
Yeah, I'm with Hayes. And I do think the Joe Burrow injury spooked people, even though we all know it can happen.
So you think a handful of plays game one and then not until the season?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. Because again, I think nothing game one. Maybe, like you said, maybe a series. I think they will play a little bit in the second game and none in the third, but we'll see.
They did something really interesting today. Sorry, just real quick.
Yeah.
So the whole team runs the gassers at the end.
Right.
They've done that every day. So today, Trevor didn't run them, which I thought was really interesting. And now he was having a conversation. He was fine. He was having a conversation with a coach. So, and obviously it's not like Trevor Lawrence feels like I don't have to run the gassers.
Right. Yeah,
he's a total team guy.
He'd be the first guy.
Right. So is it that he's been told we don't want you running the gassers because of what, not that Burrow got hurt doing that, but just they don't want to put that on him?
Yeah,
I found it I'm actually kind of curious to ask Doug about it tomorrow, because I'm curious, were they just having a conversation and the gassers started, but they were so into it that it was just well, don't worry about that, or but he never did them. It wasn't like he ever jumped in or did them after.
Right.
He just never did them. So have they told him, you're not doing these? We don't want you running. It's as easy as it appears to be. I'm just curious if that's where it's gone with the protect Trevor at all costs.
Yeah, it's interesting because during practice, he did keep the ball and scramble a couple times. So you'd think that even that would be limited if that's what they're thinking. So I would think tomorrow he'll probably run them. But it was funny watching Press Taylor run them alongside his guys.
I think, and Lauren, you've always been a proponent of no preseason games, and I've come closer and closer to where you are. We're down to 17 regular season and 3 preseason. I think we all agree we're headed to 18-2. There'll be 18. The team wants their 10 home gates, the teams. So I don't think that's changing. So I think most people believe we're headed to 18-2, 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games, which to me would be better. And I think that's where it'll land. I got to tell you, and I know it's an odd number, so probably it wouldn't work. I'd play 1 preseason game. The more I think about it, I think we're going to land on 2. Lauren, I know you believe the number should be 0. I think I would play 1. I think I probably would have one game. Everybody plays a preseason game. Everybody gets a practice game. And I probably would, and you'd have to alternate whether you had it at home or not each year. So I know that, and that's probably why they won't do it, because they want to even an amount. But I would have one game. I would probably, in that one game, I think I would probably play my starters 10 plays, 15 plays, 2 series, just to get the feel of playing, of running out in your uniform, of warming up a little bit, of running out there and playing. I would then play from the middle of the first quarter on, the rest of the half, I'd play guys I haven't decided about, rookies that need some work, rookies that have never played in the league. And then the second half would be the guys I'm probably cutting, let them have an audition. And that would be it. I'd have one game. I'd have every team play one game. I would probably report to camp later. I probably, instead of reporting, I love it when they report to camp early because we get excited about camp. But I would probably report to camp on August 10th. I would probably have a practice 2 weeks till the 24th. I'd probably play one game, then I'd have 2 weeks for the season. That's what I would do. That's all I think you need. I think we do it for the purpose of gate, and I get it. The league wants to make money. But I used to say 2. I think right now it'd be 1. I think, again, report August 10th, work out for 2 weeks, play one game, starters play 10, 12 plays, just get the feel of it in uniform, running out, make sure the headset works, making sure you're used to talking to the coach in the headset, and the middle linebacker has got the radio and whatnot. I would do that. I'd get him out of there in the first quarter. I'd play most of the rest of the half with people that I really want to see, and the second half with the guys I'm going to cut. Agree or disagree?
I would play 2. I don't think they need 3. I do think if the joint practices didn't line up with the Lions game, they would play like a quarter and a half maybe. But I just think because they're doing the joint practices going into that game, that's why I think you're going to see fewer preseason snaps than what we're accustomed to. But I would keep it at 2, or not say keep it. I would move it to 2 once
it gets to 2, you'd stay there.
I would stay at 2. I think because again, you have to make decisions on so many of these guys. You're cutting from 90 to 53. You don't want to cut the wrong guy. You want to make sure you've had enough live reps to really evaluate, the guys that are really on the bubble, the guys that you want on the practice squad. I mean, there is value in that. So I would like to see it go from 3 to 2, and I'd like to see an 18-2 model.
Yeah, as a fan/media person, I don't think they need the preseason, or I don't like the preseason. I understand from a coaching perspective, the special teams guys and those roster bubble guys, you want to see them in live game action. But I think you can get enough of that through the joint practices, through training camp, when you run your special teams drills and things like that.
All right, 1 segment to go. We'll take a break. Lauren's going to wrap the week with news and notes. That's after this.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be racing at Richmond on Sunday. It is the Cookout 400 laps around the 3/4-mile oval. It's the second of 2 races on the calendar at Richmond. Kyle Larson won there back in April. Kevin Harvick won the summer race last year, and Martin Truex Jr. is the betting favorite at plus 400. Larson, who had won at Richmond earlier this season, is a plus 600. Denny Hamlin also at plus 600. Christopher Bell at 700. And William Byron, who leads all Cup drivers with 4 wins, he is plus 800. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
Introducing an exciting update from Duck Duck Rooter. Mia here and my friends at Duck Duck are thrilled to expand on their already long line of home and business services with the launch of Duck Duck Air Conditioning. As a licensed mechanical contractor, the skilled Duck Duck Air Conditioning team is equipped to handle any HVAC and refrigeration project you can throw at them. Folks, it is hot outside. There is no reason to be hot inside. Contact Duck Duck Air Conditioning today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
How wide is the moon? The answer coming right up.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
The moon is roughly 2,100 miles wide, about a 3-day drive.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours. New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Stay connected to Gainesville with the Florida Gator Report.
Join me, Taylor Dahl, as I keep a close eye on everything that happens in Gator Nation.
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts on 1010XL.
Mandarin people, Players Grill's grand opening is Saturday, August 12th on San Jose. Come enjoy preseason football, prizes, drink deals, and live music after the game. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. They were fantastic in setting up my car loan. I've never had a bad experience, and I've banked with them for years. I trust First Florida Credit Union. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the New Durban location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Major League Baseball is always on at Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill. Whether you're a Ray, Cub, or even Yankee, Perfect Rag Billiards always has all the games live. Tons of awesome beer and food specials for the weekend, from Fireball Fridays, Seltzer Saturdays, and brunch on Sundays. That, along with tons of pool tables, shuffleboards, darts, and more. Get on out of the house for the action and come to Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill, where you can catch all the MLB action. Perfect Rag Billiards in Murray Hill, a great place to watch sports.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this weekend at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is Red Shirt Friday with post-game fireworks presented by Arlington Toyota. Tomorrow, the first 2,000 fans get a Jumbo Shrimp t-shirt on a totally tubular 80s night. Then on Sunday at 3:05, it's Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Hacker here, and you know that I'm a sausage guy. So let me tell you about the Sausage Dudes sausage. The Sausage Dudes use quality pork and carefully sourced spices to make the best sausage I've ever had. They have 4 outstanding flavors, including Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with cheddar and jalapeno, and my favorite, the Italian. You can pick up the Sausage Dudes sausage at Publix locations all throughout Jacksonville. So take it from me and head to Publix today to pick up the Sausage Dudes sausage.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
What's going on in the world? It's time for Frangie Show news and notes. Here's Lauren Brooks.
You know well I'm a chicken fried, and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
When you hear Zach Brown Band, you know the weekend is almost here for us. For many of you, you have already kicked it off. Frank Frangie's here. Hayes Carline. I'm Lauren Brooks. Emmanuel Fallerin filling in for Andrew Gibson, who has today and Monday off. All right, Frank, what will you be watching this weekend?
Yeah, What to Watch is always brought to you by The Best Bet. They have all kind of fun stuff. Final weekend, by the way, for Christmas in July, $2,100 to $2,300 high hands every hour at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine. And, of course, that card player poker tour is going on as well. So head to The Best Bet. Great location. St. Augustine, that's the new one. It is beautiful. You know that big one in Jacksonville's on Monument Road. And, of course, Orange Park's been there forever. By the way, they've got $300 early bird high hands at Orange Park, 9 to 10 every Saturday. That's at Best Bet Orange Park. You know what? I don't have a lot on TV to watch. You know what I'm going to tell people to do? Go out and watch the Jaguars practice.
Love it.
I hope you got to sign up to do it, but there's room for you, I would imagine. Go out there and watch the Jaguars practice. They're going to practice tomorrow, not on Sunday. So if you get a chance, go out there and practice tomorrow. Also Monday and Tuesday. So here's what to watch. Watch your Jacksonville Jaguars practice in person at the brand new Miller Electric Center.
I think that's a perfect one. And certainly Tuesday when the pads go on, that's going to be a fun one if you can attend. All right, Frank, tell me about last night's walk-off scout team game at JU.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. Thank you for asking. Thanks to JU for hosting us. As we've told you, the 17U walk-off scout team is a travel team of sorts. And these kids have never had the chance to do this. They've traveled all summer long and playing in wonderful tournaments, and we wanted people to see them last night and their parents to come out and kids to come out. So a bunch of folks came out to Breastfield Session Stadium, I guess what they call it now. It used to be called Breastfield. Session Stadium at JU. JU was so accommodating. We had food for free. They got to eat food.
Nice.
We gave away baseball gloves to anybody 9 and under. We gave away a ton of them, and they were all over there in that practice field using those. And terrific game. We played the Post 88 River Dogs, a terrific local American Legion team. 1-1 going into extra innings. We played regular extra innings in the 8th. Finally played the Ghost Runner in the 9th, and the River Dogs won 4-1. They scored 3 in the top of the 9th, and they went on to beat the Scout team 4-1. But 2 real good, respectful teams. A lot of the kids all knew each other. It was a fun night. It really was. And since you asked about it, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend's the last time our scout team will be together because everyone heads off to school or back to school.
Right.
Here's what we're doing to end the weekend. They're going to Atlanta. They're in Atlanta. They are playing a one special game tonight as part of the RBI program. It's it's not a tournament. They're playing one game tonight, which is just fantastic. Tomorrow they go to the Braves. Watch the Braves. The Braves are hosting them.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's so great.
They're going to go see Morehead. I think it's Morehouse College in Atlanta. They're going to tour various museums there and come back on Monday morning. It is really the Braves are putting this on for a lot of the RBI teams, and there's a special game tomorrow. The 44 best players in America that have made this list that are minority players, and our team we don't have anyone on that list, but they're going to go watch that game. So they're going to play tonight. Watch that game tomorrow. Watch the Braves tomorrow night. Tour Morehouse College. It's just going to be an amazing, amazing weekend to end the summer for our 17U Scout team, and I'm really excited about that for them.
That sounds like a blast. So the RBI program is through Major League Baseball. To this point, have they given any money to walk-off charities?
They have. Well, what they have done is sort of.
Okay.
RBI program is reviving baseball in the inner city. That's what it stands for. and they do a wonderful job. But you're only as good as the boots on the ground. And so they like to partner with organizations like ours. They've given us a lot of gear.
Okay.
They provided uniforms for our trip last week to play in Tampa, special uniforms just for that tournament. So they have helped, and they've certainly guided us in some direction. Lots of equipment, lots of gear, uniforms. They don't really give money. That's not what they do. They just help you get started. So, but yeah, the RBI program is a very good one, and we have certainly connected our team with theirs and our initiative with theirs on a regular basis. They've been very good.
Well, good. I'm so glad, and certainly best of luck to the scout team tonight and this weekend.
Tonight's the last time they'll play together this year, and then, of course, they'll play again next year. But tonight's the last time they'll play together this year.
I wonder how many Braves fans are on the team.
I don't know that. Probably some.
I would think so.
I know Jared Simmons, our executive director, is a diehard.
Yep.
He's a diehard. He also worked for the Braves for 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the reasons he is.
Yeah, so we mentioned this or discussed this with Pete Prisco as far as Joe Burrow having the calf strain. He'll be out for several weeks. You're reading now that the Bengals, of course, right now they have Trevor Siemian and Jake Browning, but they're also going to add a quarterback. So, Hayes, if you're Zach Taylor and the front office, are you calling Matt Ryan? Are you calling Carson Wentz? Are there any of those guys that you're going to add to your team in the meantime?
Yeah, it's a great question. It might be Wentz because Matt Ryan, I don't know. It's probably at most going to be a game or two. And my guess is Burrow's going to be ready for the opener. But so I don't know that it would appeal enough to Matt Ryan. Had he popped the Achilles, it would have been perfect for Matt Ryan.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
But with the fact that he's probably coming back and probably coming back very soon, it might appeal to Wentz, who I think just wants to get back in. Matt Ryan, I think, would get back in if it was like a great opportunity, but he'd have to be sort of guaranteed the year. Wentz, I think, just wants back in the league anywhere. So if you're Carson Wentz, it would make a lot of sense. It's a tremendous group around you offensively, and you'd be Burrow's backup. So maybe you get a chance to start a game or two with this injury. Who knows? Maybe something else happens to Burrow as the year progresses. But I think it would appeal more to Wentz than to Ryan.
Totally agree. I think, and I'd be surprised, by the way, if Wentz winds up there. But to Hayes' point more than Ryan, your point about Matt Ryan is perfect. If all of a sudden a really good team lost their quarterback for the year, that's the situation you call Matt Ryan. I think it would take that, and I totally agree with you. That's probably the only situation he'd be interested in. So I think you're right.
From the Bengals' perspective, the reason I would want a veteran in there is a veteran who's started multiple games in the past is to run training camp. The rest of training camp, you want someone who knows what to do in that position. Simeon, I suppose, has started a little bit, but I don't know that he's the right guy to take them through, certainly not Jake Browning, to take them through the rest of training camp. What about Tom Brady?
Well, if Burrow was out for the year,
right.
I think, I think you'd have to make the call. And if you're Tom Brady throwing to Jamar Chase and the weapons there, I think you would listen. But I think they'll sign a veteran. Is it Wentz? Is Bridgewater still out there?
I think so.
See, I would probably just sign Teddy Bridgewater because you don't have the drama you'd have with Wentz.
I thought I was thinking the same thing.
I'd probably sign Bridgewater.
He'd be happy to do whatever you ask him to do.
Yeah, as of now, these are the guys, like we said, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Bridgewater, Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Chase Daniel, Bryce Perkins, E.J. Perry, Jake Luton, 2 former Jaguars, and then some guys I've never heard of.
Yeah, Bridgewater started a bunch. He's started for multiple franchises.
Way better locker room guy than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's
way better. Way better. Way more professional, respectful, no drama guy. Where Wentz is not any of that, really.
See, I wondered about Brady because he doesn't actually have to play this season. You just come in, you throw to, like you said, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, for a month or so.
Yeah,
you don't want to play in any games. You get a paycheck, and then you're back doing whatever the heck you want.
I think he's got enough paychecks. I don't think Tom Brady's too worried about that.
In the NBA, Udonis Haslem officially announced his retirement after 20 years with the Heat.
I thought UD had another 5-6 years, didn't you, Hayes? I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's out already.
Yeah, I was thinking he was going to be the Julio Franco of the NBA,
God
and in
bless
many
him.
ways he was.
God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, that video the Heat put out when
Yes.
Udonis had his final regular season home game there was sensational, and you forgot about all the guys that he played with in Miami. I mean, it was going back to like Shaq and just an amazing career, and he's an icon down there. And Now it'll be interesting to see. I can't imagine he's not going to work in some capacity for the Heat now, whether that's front office or player liaison, which is kind of what he's been unofficially anyway.
Well, Lauren,
He's been getting paid a lot to be a player liaison.
Lauren, when did you get to Gainesville?
I started in the year 2000.
Okay, so you started in the fall of 2000.
Correct.
Okay, because by then, UD had already been to a Final Four and a championship game with Florida. By the time you got on campus,
Yes.
he had already played in a Final Four with Florida, and he was still playing in the NBA until today.
Isn't that
Think about
wild?
that for a second. I mean, think about that. He got to Florida in the 90s.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable career.
Yeah, it certainly has been. All right, let's get it to baseball. Frank, we talked about Shohei Ohtani's really good game yesterday, his first career shutout. We didn't by the way, did you realize that was the first time he'd ever pitched in the 9th inning?
I did not.
So, yeah, in the first game of the doubleheader. And then he hit 2 home runs in the second game of the doubleheader.
Well, of course he did. Of course he did.
He is somebody special, and like we talked about, he's going to stay with the Angels for now.
That's remarkable.
It's
I mean,
insane.
it's unbelievable.
Especially when you watch the home run.
He throws a complete game shutout in game 1.
Right.
And then turns around in game 2 and hits 2 mammoth home runs.
And let me tell you what's remarkable about that is this wasn't a one-off. That's how he plays. You know, you're right. It's the first time they've let him go 9, but it's not like this guy just happened to have 2 good days. I mean, I'll bet his numbers. He's got to be almost at 40 home runs, 38 or 39.
He's got 38.
Okay, 38 home runs. He's hitting over 300, which nobody does anymore. I don't know. He's probably got 70 ribbies, and his pitching numbers.
He has 80 ribbies.
All right, so he's got 38, 80, and hitting into 300s. Okay, he's
298, but close enough.
okay. Then he just went under.
Yeah,
And what's his pitching numbers?
those I don't have in front of me.
Okay, but he's probably sub 3.
He's fourth in
3.43.
in fourth in the bigs and strikeouts with 156.
Yeah. It's really amazing stuff. Pretty amazing.
Strider leads it with 199.
I mean, he's one of the most amazing athletes of our time.
It's beyond belief.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Aaron Judge, after that toe injury, finally expected to play tonight for the first time since June 3rd for the Yankees.
Yeah, it's really hard to believe what's happened to the New York Yankees. They're in last place, the last place New York Yankees, and a big part of it is they lost their best player. I mean, they're still 6 games over. It's just the division's so damn good, but they are the last place New York Yankees. I'll say this about that division. Because it's so good, nobody's out of that thing. The Yankees are in last place, and they're 8 games back.
Mm-hmm.
Judge comes back. They could go on a run.
Yankees at Orioles starting tonight.
Yeah.
That's a fun series.
Fun series for sure. And by the way, did you see where Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly both landed with the Dodgers?
Yep, that's on my list. And on next, as far as news and notes, the White Sox obviously are selling everybody.
I thought Lance Lynn had a great chance to land with the Rays. The Rays, I heard, went deep with Lance Lynn.
Yeah, I had read that as well. But what do the Dodgers have that the Rays don't?
Cash?
Money, 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 money.
Yeah, but why would that affect who the White Sox trade him to? What do they care?
Long term, maybe. But
I would think that doesn't affect the White Sox now. And I would have thought the Rays would have better prospects. You know, unless they did land a solid, because he thinks they may.
That's what I was thinking.
Who does anybody a solid anymore?
Yeah. You just said something interesting about the AL East. Is there any chance the Rays might totally miss the playoffs?
I don't
They're
think
4
so.
games up.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the top wild card team right now. But, I mean, the Red Sox are not in it right now. The Yankees are not. The Red Sox are a game and a half back of Toronto. Yankees 2.5 back. Angels are 3 back.
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible.
I mean, that would be staggering.
Yeah, anything's possible with 57 games left. It would be staggering. And but I don't think so. I don't think that great start was a mirage. They're playing lousy now, and then they go to Houston, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're going to keep tumbling. I would be very surprised if they tumble that much. I would. That would be the collapse of all collapses. But the thing you have to figure out about the Rays is, I mean, again, and I'm not accusing, but I really am going to ask this question. They were so ridiculous at home until some of those radio guys started to say they were cheating. Well, I don't believe they were cheating. But, man, have they tumbled since then. Man, have they – I mean, they were unbelievable at home for a while there. So, I don't think – I think the Rays will make the playoffs. I'm not sensing they're going to win the division. And for a while there, it looked like they were an automatic to win. I'll give you credit. You said 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago something about their vibe. You didn't think they were going to win the pennant. And we all said, I said, you're crazy. They're absolutely going to win the pennant. Well, now they're probably not. Then they may not even win their division. So they did tumble. It's a weird thing. But I'd be surprised if they're dead.
And again, still plenty of time to pull it together. They've played 105 games, but yeah, because of the depth in the American League, it makes you wonder if they keep sliding.
Yeah, they're still 19 games over, so I'd be a little bit surprised. So, all right, let's say hello to our pal Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet, keeping 1010XL on track with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
We have our new studio, so we move chairs around. Lauren Brooks just did one of the great jobs of all time, hosting, getting up, and sliding the chairs. That was great work.
You're welcome.
Remember when we were gentlemen, we used to pull the chair out for ladies?
Yeah. Back in the day, opening the car door.
And what year did that? Not the car door. I'm talking about the seat when you would sit down to eat.
Yeah.
And what year did that end?
It's been a while.
90s?
Some gentlemen probably still do it.
It certainly wasn't around with the change of the millennium. I'm thinking that ended at late 80s, early 90s?
Maybe. It might have.
You think any of our Generation Z, they're like, what are they talking about? Our younger audience, like,
holding the chair?
You're supposed to pull back a chair for
Who
the
let
ladies
the
to sit down?
chair? What if they fall or something? So, how was your trip?
Times are changing, and that includes the Jaguars. Oh, it was a great trip. It was. Some young studs. Drake May. I mean, he could be the first pick in the draft. I know people are going to say it's Caleb Williams out of USC, but this Drake May kid, man, he doesn't look like a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old, wherever he is. He's got the big body. He's very outspoken. You know, he flirted with the transfer portal and even mentioned the money. He's got no fear. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Probably North Carolina, as they can't stop anyone, as we know, on defense. So we'll see what ends up happening on that side of the football. But
Knowles and Clemson's what it is, right?
It appears that way.
Yeah.
I think the Flyers Pitt, they're 20-7 in their last 2 years. Kind of go unnoticed. And Djokovic now, he's gone Notre Dame, BC to Pitt. They've changed that offense completely around. So it'll be year 2 in that brand new system. And
Pitt's won 20 games last 2 years.
20 games in the last 2 years.
I did not realize
it's
that.
one of the greatest untold stories in college football.
Yeah, I had no idea.
20-7. That's a tough conference.
Yeah. There's no question. All right, what's coming up tonight?
None of that tonight now.
Jaguars tonight.
My first look at the Miller Electric Center, and it was just spectacular. I mean, I'd been lucky enough to get a tour, but I missed day 1 and 2 because I was in Charlotte for the ACC meetings. I'm always excited to go to these events and these practices, but what's there not to love about this? And then on top of it, Hayes and I were talking about it on our podcast, Death, Taxes, and Duval. It just feels different out there. It feels like this is a team that knows that they're going to win games.
100% agree.
I mean, 3 years ago it's Marone, 2 years ago it's Urban, last year it's Peterson. You didn't feel that in either one of those 3 years. You feel that right now.
Totally agree. All coming up
Rick,
tonight. Thanks, buddy. Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that happens as soon as we get off the air. That'll do it for our program. We'll be back on Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, with another Jaguar practice or 2 under our belt. For Hayes, for Lauren, for E.T. filling in for Gibby, I'm Frank Frangie. Have a great weekend.
More Jaguars, more prep sports, more Gators, more Knowles, more Dogs, more golf.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch the game with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a tennis racket in the other. Don here from Taco Lou